The fan. Oh. Oh, it's something going on. It might be the fan of the computer. If you hear this whirring and whizzing, it's been a real fuckity fuck cunt of a fucking day, can I just say. Everybody else is in a bad mood. They're making their bad mood my bad mood. Having to deal with everything. And it's like, oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. I have a bad feeling. What's the weather like out? Well, this shouldn't be a problem. Now I can't even access the pool, but I can see. This has been a shitty fucking day. Sorry. Okay. I shut the pool filter off. It was making me absolutely insane. And just got to fix a couple things here. It really is a hellish fucking day. I've got WitchCon coming this Friday, so I'm, having to deal with everybody else's cuntiness, fuckery, and crankiness. And then the other bullshit I generally have to deal with. Yeah, so that was my pool filter. I, can't even use the pool, mind you, but I got to keep it filtered so it doesn't turn green. Hello, everybody. My name is Christian Day. This is Hex Offenders. I don't know if I've got the people calling in. I was hoping I could get... I haven't even had time to check because I'm doing everybody else's job. So let me see here. Gonna go look. Gonna go see. Anybody answered me? Apparently not. Well, Melissa Mayhem, if you are out there, I'd love you to call. And Melissa Pomerantz, if you're out there, I'd love you to call. And anybody else that wants to call, the number is 608 Warlock, and that is our call-in number. My callers are my co-hosts, so if you don't call, don't bitch if you don't like what I talk about, because you set the topic, and I might just decide to talk about, insects or something random. I don't know. I'll just pick something off of the, whatever you call it. I'll go to the internet and find something. I actually do have some things I want to talk about. How many people have signed up for WitchCon, he asks. Oh, God. Somewhere over 600 now. I don't know if it's going to hit the 1,000, especially with 2 days, but it wouldn't shock me. It's just going insane. Kevin and I were like, well... let's think we'll probably get about 200 people. We'll be happy, whatever. I don't know that we'll hit 1,000, but I capped it off at 1,000 because I just felt like that was a good number. And then, of course, I find out, they charge us a certain amount over 1,000. Not that I mind, it's like, I don't know. They charge us $0.25 a person for every person we go over 1,000. But what that kind of tells me is, that they've identified that 1,000 as sort of this benchmark place. And so that tells me as a technical person, maybe they don't really want you going over 1,000. And if they don't want you going over 1,000, are you going to have issues, with the technical server? I certainly don't want anything crashing while this is going on. And let me see here. God, with the fans and everything else. You know what? I really got to get... because, see, I can hear it. Like, if I don't... this is the room noise if I don't dampen it. So, see, I don't know if that's the outside fan. I don't know if it's the computer fan. I hate room noise. I just want to get rid of it here, but you can still hear it when I talk. You know, that sort of shh. PJ said it'd be very funny if it ended up being, whatever you call it, 666 people. Oh, yeah, I'm going to bring her in because she can just kick off the topic. Hi, is this Tammy Lee?
Yes, it is. Can you hear me, Christian?
Barely.
Okay.
Can you
turn off the speaker? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better. So, what is a blind wrench? Are you blind?
I'm sorry, I had trouble hearing you. I'm really good on speakerphone, but I have a hard time hearing.
I thought you were blind.
Question, please.
Are you there?
No, I have a hard time hearing.
Oh, well, you said blind wrench. You didn't say deaf wrench.
No, I have a hard time hearing.
Oh. Well, if you want to put it back on speaker, you just sound a little far away. Can you sit closer to the speaker?
All right, I beg your pardon. Last time I thanked somebody for doing closed caption, like within a week, and then this is so my bad. I can see, but I can't see. I use reading glasses, and my hearing is jacked up because I had speakers in my ears for so many years doing radio, and my ears are shot.
Yeah, mine aren't so great either.
So you had said reach in and call, and so I'm reaching in and calling you. I didn't even listen to the rest of what you said. I just wanted to encourage you on everything that you've done with WitchCon, and to tell you how proud I am of you and how much we are all going to enjoy it. And those that are sitting outside, the haters, can go F themselves. Yes, they can. That's all I wanted to say.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, we've been, let me put you back into the thing here. Oh, no, I don't want to drop me.
Don't drop me either.
Oh, you're still on?
I'm like Humpty Dumpty. I break.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to put you back into regular listening there. So
Okay.
All right, hold on. Just turn up your thing there. So, welcome everybody. It's been a day. It's been a week, really, you know, because we're all getting ready for this first International WitchCon Festival. I don't know where everyone is. I figured Carell would be around. They've all abandoned me. And, what are you going to do? And, so WitchCon, you know, we've got about 100 presenters. I think we've lost one or two over the year. And, it's spectacular. We've got so many people coming, and we're just getting ready for all of the technology. And, of course, finding out that when people buy in Eventbrite, they're not instantly getting registered this last couple of days in Crowdcast, which is really, really frustrating because we're getting emails going, how come I'm not registered in Crowdcast? So we have to do it manually because we have this application called Zapier, which connects other applications. And so when Eventbrite sells a ticket, it goes and it registers them in Crowdcast. And we should have just did it in Crowdcast, but they don't have a little embeddable widget you can put on your website to buy a ticket. You have to embed the whole application, which does not embed well. And so I could put a button on the WitchCon site and on Facebook, here, go to Crowdcast and register. But then you got to look around for the register button. You know, it's not intuitive. I wish they had a button purchase, you know, a registration button of some kind. It is frustrating, but you know, I love Zapier for what it does as far as connecting various applications. And you know, if somebody registers an email on one app, you can put it on another. But it is clearly not helpful when it comes to, what do you call it? I don't know what I just did there. It's not great when it comes to Eventbrite, apparently. It's very frustrating. Oh, we do have a caller here. Michael. Is he there?
Yeah, well, we're watching you on the big screen. What are you
Well, geez, now you're coming through. Oh, that must be why I couldn't hear you. Could you hear the other woman?
Yeah, that was Tammy.
Right, but
the first caller?
yeah, but you're coming over on the computer. Hold on. I'm having a million. I had to literally not do what I do today, because I had to do things other people were supposed to do. So, talk now, please.
Well, Tammy was the announcer on the Lucky Mojo Hoodoo Root Work
No.
Hour
That's not where I'm going. This has
years.
nothing.
Years.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
not talking about that.
Well, that was the woman that was on first. I'm just telling you.
I know, but that's not really what I'm asking about. Someday
okay.
I'll get to that.
Hello.
Hi. No, apparently the reason I couldn't hear her was because she was playing on the computer and I was hearing her through the microphone. That's why I couldn't hear her.
We heard her.
Well, I know, but you were
all
hearing.
good.
Okay, again, you were hearing her because she was coming through the computer, and being the most technical person in the room is never fun. I know people think it is, but it's not. She was playing on my laptop, and the microphone was picking her up from the laptop, so it was sort of passing her sound along, but not well. You know what I mean? Like now, you're coming directly into the sound system. However, I don't know what you're talking on, but you sound very muffled.
iPhone, speakerphone.
Oh, all right. I'm spoiled. Huh?
You sound very muffled, actually.
How?
We're watching you on the big screen TV right now, and your audio on the TV is better than the phone.
60-inch big screen TV.
Yeah, that's 70, bitch.
70.
70. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have me playing on the computer and the phone at the same time, how is there not a delay?
You're not on the
Well,
computer.
there is a delay. We had to mute the TV. So we're watching you.
Yeah, we're talking to you.
Quit looking up because we can see that circular light in your eyes.
There's a delay on the video, but we're
Is
paying
this
attention
microphone
to the audio.
muffled to anybody else? Because it's not sounding muffled in my ear. Hello? I'm just ready to cancel this tonight. I'm not in the mood.
Oh.
I don't understand.
What are you going to do?
It doesn't sound muffled in my ear. Like my microphone sounds crisp. Can anyone hear this? Well, since nobody's watching, I might as well
fucking with your microphones is really entertaining, actually. You may not know this.
Oh, well, you know what it was? The comments weren't scrolling down. Everybody says it sounds clear. I don't know.
Okay.
There you go.
It might be a thing with your TV. But your phone sounds a little...
No, the TV sounds good. The
No,
phone,
no, we're good.
We're on
We're
the phone.
good on our end. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, what do you-
well,
what do
maybe
you
I
do-
sound
what do you
muffled
do
for the
now?
same
Hold
reason
on.
you sound muffled. Like, if I sound muffled to you and your phone sounds muffled to me, then it might be your phone. Because everybody else...
Yeah.
No, we're good.
At any rate, what's going on? What are we doing? What are you doing? What's going on?
I don't even know.
What's up?
I've had a really shitty week and a really shitty day. And I've had everybody that's wanted to aggravate me go out of their way to do so. So, like...
Today?
Just all week, but today especially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really annoyed. And so I'm
We haven't
less
received a
prepared.
phone
I
call.
actually...
We assumed it was kind of peaceful today.
Well, we just wanted to make sure that you knew that we're not abandoning you, and we're like here and
We're here.
watching you. And
Yeah, you were saying, where's the corrals?
yeah.
Well, I've got...
So we wanted
Enough
to
of
show
that.
you where the corrals
I've got yeah, people got to call in. I mean, it's 608 Warlock. I want call-ins. That's all
Yeah.
these
I'm getting my first
I got a
vaccination
bazillion
on
people
Saturday.
in the chat and nobody calls in. Pussies. So anyway, well, you were part of some of this that went on. You know, it's like this
Yeah.
Stinky Tom, the tour guide. You know, I'm going to rag on, like, until that Lucian fuckface there in Salem contacts me about his choices, we're going to have some fucking issues with that Satanic Temple until I feel good and ready not to. And they're going to be like fucking center stage in my vitriol fucking train for quite some time to come, because, you know, I didn't care that they basically stuck this Satanic Temple in the middle of this area in Salem that nobody with any class, unless they have some insidious love for vinyl siding and cheap homes, would want to go. You know, it's Bridge Street. I don't know how do you, if you've never been to Salem, how do you qualify Bridge Street? Something gross.
We do not know.
Nowhere you'd want to live. I'm just saying. I mean, it's not the worst neighborhood in the city, but it's like dumpy. It's not a nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's not where you want to live. So, of course, that's where the Satanic Temple decides to go. And, no, you know, here's the thing I don't like about them. I mean, they are kind of blurring the lines between Satanism and witchcraft by being there. And also, you know, granted, my best friend Sean did the same thing, and it used to drive me crazy, but, you know, there was only so much that I could do about it, you know. But here's the thing. I don't care for it, but I let it go. They have religious freedom, and I love what they do politically. You know, they try to put a temple, you know, a Baphomet statue, which really has nothing to do with Satanism. You know, they try to put a Baphomet statue that they don't realize has nothing to do with Satanism. You know, on the State House lawn as a way of protesting the 10 Commandments on the State House lawn. You know, I love that sort of thing. But the one thing that I've always hated about Salem is these people come there to set up shop, immediately position themselves against everything that's there. And then, you know, they begin to take everybody's cast-offs. You know, like when Flubbard there, you know, Ed Hubbard, his Native American name, the guy from Witch School, his Native American name that we gave him in Salem was Flies on Hair. You know, because, you know, you'd see him out there and the smell was so bad in his hair that the flies would gather around it, you know, because they were looking to...
I forgot about him. He blocked me, man.
He did?
They were looking... I have forgiven him so many fucking times, you have no idea. And then, like, even after he told people
those are the Corellians.
Right, but he told people that... He told me people that they should...
They have our name, dude.
It's personal.
Right, but he told people they should...
He didn't block me, but...
He told people they should shoot me. You know, and then I forgave that. And so then
he was on your friends list for a long time.
Oh no, off and on. It's always been off and on. But because they'll do something stupid. And this last time, he was on some group when they decided I was a transphobe for absolutely no reason I can ascertain. They said I defended J.K. Rowling, which I didn't, unless you think insidious and disingenuous are words you use to describe someone you're defending. But regardless, they apparently look at insidious and disingenuous as positive words in the social justice movement, I guess. I don't know. Or more the Gen Z. I swore I'd never be one of these get off my lawn kids today, bitches. But, like, literally, I think you could rid the world of 3/4 of Gen Z, and I wouldn't look up from my salad. So I'd be like, do you notice the smell's gone? So, you know, there you go. But anyway, when they decided this, you know, Ed Hubbard went on to some group saying I was financially vulnerable and, you know, he could, you know, help. How can he help take me down? Well, first of all, somebody named Felicia said, you sound clear, they sound muffled. Anyway, I think it's the speakerphone. But anyway, what do you call it? you know, so I find out he's saying, oh, well, first of all, I'm anything but financially vulnerable. We literally just got yet another grant. I think we've gotten more than 6 different rescues, most of which we don't even have to pay back. Like if it was out there, we probably got a nickel or two from it, or 800,000. Just saying. You know, if you call 800,000, you know, financially vulnerable, I want to be. Hey, who wouldn't want to be that financially vulnerable? So anyhow,
you know, Kanye West got millions of dollars, so it's good.
We did get.
Yeah.
Well, anywho, and Storm Sestivani says, plus you have friends that are not financially vulnerable. Well, there is that. So
I get my first vaccine on Saturday.
Well, that's
got
awesome.
An appointment there.
Oh, we've got Jim Barker. That's James Devine. He's in the chat on Facebook, I think he is. He will be teaching at WitchCon also. We've got so many great people, and hopefully Jim will be with us again next year.
Yeah.
I want to get Storm Sestivani, but he's all so secretive, and you know, I told him he could have a little box like Charlie's Angels, you know, and just literally have that be the video. Hello, Angel.
Well, we just pretty much called in because you said we weren't here. Wanted you to know we were here. We're watching on the TV.
Oh, well, you gotta get him on. I don't understand why you don't have, like, with all the tech and things you do, I would have, like, you gotta, when you're vaccinated, you gotta come see, this is the command center of the space shuttle. And the only thing that sucks about it,
you got some gadgets. I'll give you that.
I either need
them in your eyes.
I either need to. Well, I kind of want to get the. RuPaul recommends the ring light, and I figure, you know, nobody knows, you know, age lines like an old drag queen. So, but I thought maybe, you know, get like the Elgato key light airs on either side, so it's a little softer. But either way, no, this is fucking badass. I mean, this has got this little digity key thing with little videos on it, and the Elgato Stream Deck.
We got
I don't like
and wires.
The problem is that I'm right inside. I'm right inside. This is Michael Carell and Marta Carell on the phone. Jim Barker just asked. I'm right. My bedroom is right outside. Has the giant fan for the HVAC system, and if the pool, you know, jets are on because it's cold, they go on. And, you know, and I don't really have any other place to do this where the sound isn't going to be there. So that's a problem too. And plus the fan from the computer. So I'm probably going to get a Mac Mini that sits underneath the table because you'll never hear it. Either that or a MacBook. The new MacBook Airs don't have a fan. Somebody said I'm right inside the smoke shop at the Indian reservation. You can't call them Indians anymore. They're Native Americans, Storm. I'm going to be politically correct for the 5 seconds.
Christian Day had to school you on that.
That secondhand smoke, good Lord. Well, anyway, thank you guys for calling in. And
we're going to be watching. Have a good show.
Thank you. Let me see here. I think.
Good night. Bye.
Okay, I gotta drop the call. Okay, here we go. Somebody else. Is this somebody else calling? It's unknown from Quincy, Mass. I hope it's a hate. Like, I'm wanting Stinky Tom to call in, like, just so everyone can hear him scream. I might actually play the call. Hold on. I still haven't told you all about Stinky Tom. Hold on. Let's see. Let me see. Why can I not? Oh, it says terminated calls. I guess the person called in and hung up. What, from Quincy, Mass? Oh, now I want to know who it was. Oh, Angel, how great would that be? Oh, Angel, call in. I want you to hear your voice talking about Stinky Tom. Stinky Tom, the Satanic tour guide. No, so I was making fun of the Satanic Temple in Salem, not because I have anything, you know, look, I've got satanic friends. I might have my own red card sitting around this house somewhere, though I don't think Peter and Peggy really like me very much. they're the head of the Church of Satan, because when Sean died, the people were calling me, how do you intend to carry forth Warlock Claw's satanic legacy? And at the same time, I had these other people going, does this mean that we can return to the fold blah, 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 of the Mother Goddess, blah, blah, blah. The shield and a gig with teeth in their crotch, and I literally had people on both ends, wanting to hijack my agenda for either, feminist, neo-Wiccan vaginal juices or, the Church of Satan and its dark takeover of Salem, and I don't care about either one of these things. I'm all about my own agenda. Shocker there. And that's the agenda. So basically, here, let me bring in, this is my niece, everybody. Hello, Angel. Oh, wait a minute. It didn't come through. Wait a minute. Why isn't she there? It says auto screen aborted by host.
Hello?
Hi, you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, it said I gave you an abortion.
What?
It said, I don't know. It said auto screen. Okay, so it must have been asking you to say, like it asks you to say something, and then it gives me a little text message.
Yeah, that's calling for my name.
Oh, well, it said auto screen aborted. I'm like, I gave her an abort. This is seriously.
Too late to abort me. It's been 34 years.
Storm Sestivani said, I have a serious question. Does he smell like stinky tofu or Limburger cheese? I actually, I said. He
smells like dirty hair and patchouli.
No, what I said was sour milk and Limburger cheese. I think that's.
Oh, yeah.
No, stinky tofu doesn't quite come to the level of what.
No.
No. And so, anyway, what I was saying about these people that come in to Salem, these groups, they come in, I am coming to be the next Flooring Cabin or the next Christian Day, or the next this one or that, even, I'm sure some people want to be the next Terry Calgren. I don't know who, but somebody. I don't know what is it? That hemp shop. They probably want to be the next Terry Calvin. But anyway, the only herb most people want. Yeah. So they come in and they start taking people's cast-offs. Like, remember when that World of Witches, Ed Hubbard flubbered flies on hair thing opened? And they were literally taking everybody. Like, if they were cast off by all the other groups in town, oh, come on in.
Yeah.
Only to find out why everybody else didn't want them. It's always,
Because cast-offs are cast-offs for a reason.
By the way, Angel helped me to pick out, and I would have worn some of it tonight, but I had some technical snafus. But we just, if you want to buy expensive makeup, friend Angel and ask her what to get. She knows every brand. Oh, no, Stacey, you can't get this brush. They shed. And I'm like, and if I mention, no matter what brand I mentioned on the phone today, she knew exactly what that brand was about, what worked with it and what didn't. So anyway, the Satanic Temple. So we had this tour guide that worked for the Salem Witch Walk, which I used to co-own with Lorelei, my friend that owns Crowhaven Corner. And we had this weird tour guide in town that owned a tour company, and she was horrible. She would randomly stand in the town square and pee. Like, this is no lie. Like, literally, you'd see the pee. Like, I don't know. There's so many fascinating people.
Yeah.
And In League with the Devil just joined. I am the devil. I guess they're in league with me. You're not one of those Satanic Temple people, I hope. I don't know. What am I going to do?
Maybe.
Oh, I wish Lucian Greaves would call in, man. I'd be like, first of all, from what I understand, Stinky Tom is staying on the couch, is living on the couch
No, they kicked him out.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, that's why Pixie's parents had to pay for their apartment because they were living in like a storage unit or something.
Just people. Just the way she said it. See, cunt runs in the family. So
It does.
So anyway, well, he probably had to get rid of the couch when he threw him out. I mean, Jesus. So you know, that Molly Stewart was being so horrific. I mean, didn't you remember when Lorelai kicked the door in? Because one of her
Yes.
people threw Frankie's food out of his hand. And so she came,
Yeah, but
she came storming down Essex Street, kicked in her door. And I remember you going, Cece, I work at a strip club and I've never seen anything like that. She kicked the door in like it was on TV.
And told her that she'd have to shoot her dog if she let the dog go. Lorelai didn't care.
Oh my God. But anyway, so she was just such a douche that I decided to hire away her tour guide because he was getting all the best reviews. And now, he is. I'm going to say this nice thing about Tom, the tour guide, Thomas O'Brien Valor. Well, it said Valor O'Brien on his police warrants. But anyway, I don't know what his real name is. You know, Thomas Valor O'Brien or O'Brien Valor or Valor O'Brien. I don't know. But we offered him more money. And Molly kept dicking him around. So I'm like, well, we can afford it. Let's give him more money. But he was very challenging, to say the least. Excellent tour guide. Does know his Salem history. That's where it ends.
But he's a pretentious prick.
And he smells like Fremunda cheese, Limburger cheese, and sour milk that's out on the street on a hot summer day. Like, picture any bad smell that you've ever smelled. And it is all culminated in this yuck. And so, anyway.
With cigarette smoke as like a nice topping. Because he chain smoke cigarettes.
Nasty. So anyway, we hired Tom away from Molly just to be a cunt. I'm like, you want to make my life hell? I'm going to make your life hell. Look, I never come for nobody. But, you know, I have a reputation. What is the line from Alexis? I have a reputation that is both devious and manipulative, and I cherish that reputation because it keeps my enemies off guard. The point is, I cherish my reputation. If you come for me, I might come for you. If you come for me and I come for you, I'm probably going to come for you worse. So, like, I'm not going to feel bad about it. My attitude is, Sean used to say, Sean Poirier, if you're going to play the squeeze the titty game with Christian and I, we intend to win. Well, here's the thing. I don't like paying the little titty. I just want to lob the tit off and be done with it. So if people want to get into...
You cut the whole thing.
Well, that's what I mean. If they want to get into a tit for tat, I don't want to get in for... I'm busy. I got work to do. If you're coming for me, I'm just going to end you, and then you can go away and complain about me till the end of time. But there will be no more you dealing with me because I've made it disadvantageous for you to want to. So anyway, so we hired him away, and he was good for the most part, but like Tim was very frustrated with him, Tim Reagan, because this was our store manager at the time. He and Leanne Marama own Pentagram now, wonderful shop I haven't been to, but I've seen the pictures. It looks lovely. And
that's a very nice plug.
Right, and Tim like literally would call me up screaming that like Tom is screaming in the store, and at one point Lorelai had to hold him back because he was going to beat the shit out of Tom. Like, this is how bad Tom is. Like, he would come in the store screaming about this, that, and the other, and everything else. And I let it go. Finally, it got to the point where Tim is like, if I have to keep managing the witch walk, I'm going to quit. And right about at the same,
he hated him.
And I can't manage it. I'm 1,400 miles away. So right about the time that happened, that October, Tom was supposed to perform in some Rocky Horror Picture Show thing in Salem, and he wanted Sammy Branch to cover his hours. You know, Sammy's mother.
I remember this.
Yeah, well, Sammy makes her mother. Oh my God, why is her name escaping me? Kimmy Steele. Yeah. Lady Steele. So anyway, Kim, love her. Fabulous. She makes the most amazing candles for Crowhaven. And so, but her daughter, like, Tom said something, I don't know the exact words, but it was something
He said, why am I being punished because something slithered out from between your legs?
Exactly. It was something vile like that. You know, why, something squirted out between you, like, oh, Glenn Kennedy. I still have those tables. I bought these amazing, I call them the Beetlejuice tables. I bought one, he bought one. I forget what the store was on Route 1, but I ended up buying his years later. And So anyway, so he says to Sammy Branch, it's not my fault you squirted something out between your legs. Why do I have to suffer? Or however he said it. And it was horrifying. And I'm calling Lorelai and I'm like, we're going to get sued. We're a corporation. We can't have this tour guide, talking about squirting out the leg and whatever. We can't do this. This isn't going to work. I've got, poor Tim Reagan ready to quit because Tom will come into the home and just randomly scream. And literally I had everybody on the phone the day before yesterday and they're all saying, Tim was saying to them all, I never even knew what he was screaming about half the time, right? So I decided to give my half of the witch walk to Lorelai. It made me about $15,000-$20,000 in clear profit a year, but I do okay. I can sacrifice $20,000 to not have to deal with crazy. I lost a lot leaving Salem, not in terms of money, but in terms of publicity. I got a lot more there. I was able to really promote myself there, though I have to obviously compensate for that in other ways as far as, business. I don't get as much free advertising, but it wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it to have to deal with some of what goes on there. And so I let it go. I didn't unfriend Tom. He was still around. He never said anything negative about me. The few times we'd had, any sort of words, it was because he'd start yelling at me about Tim or this one and that one on the phone. And if you're going to yell at me on the phone, honey, you're going to hear Italian, Portuguese, and French all combined. People think I have a tone online and text. Get me mad.
No. They have no idea.
No, it's worse. So anyhow, I let it go. And he also, he and Mephistopheles there, with a TH, Mephistopheles, they really helped in information gathering with that store that was selling neo-Nazi books, and repackaging it as witchcraft in Salem. And when these social justice freaks around the internet community and witchcraft love to poke at me, he said this, he used the wrong word. Yet they didn't give two fiddlers fucks that there's a store right in downtown Salem where we are a city of 1 million visitors. 89% of those visitors interested in the modern witch. This is focus group research survey from the tourism board in Salem. And here's this store right in the center of all of it selling Stephen McNallen, who is the most racist religious leader in the world today, who is the head of the most racist religion. They're the ones that asked to focus assembly that just recently, Missouri or somewhere, they were trying to open a church, white people only. Really horrible. If you think Amarillo Moon or any of these people gave two shits about that, no. And Mephistopheles actually used to work there and said that they had him watching videos saying that Hitler was the good guy, So these people, kind of a bad scene. So they were helpful during that. And, I got them on Michael Carell's show. That, that's how he knows them, because Tom and Mephistopheles were on his show. I love how I'm going to just, somebody here in New Orleans gave me that name, and I'm never going to stop using it, Mephistopheles. And so Storm Sostivani asked, are they more racist than that group that the Phelps family? Oh, 10 times worse. They're not Christian. They're Christian. They don't even have the pretense of Christianity. They're literally Norse, Odin and white people and whatever. It's really despicable. And so, mind you, none of my haters gave two wits about that. Talk about a real...
Well, because they're not successful, CC. They had not someone to be jealous of. You're someone to be jealous of.
Well, there is that. But, it's not about being jealous. They're Nazis. You should have, No, it's not the Westboro Baptist people. These are not Christians. They are Norse spiritual practitioners. And I don't, I agree with Craig. I never really found Phelps people to be especially racist that I understand. I mean, unless I missed something, I didn't find it. But no. The Asa True Folk Assembly is seriously fucking racist. They put out something on Mother's Day saying, white women should have more children. It was just these people are awful. They are awful. So it was, I didn't get rid of, like, first of all, Tom never rebelled against me as some great abuser or whatever he thinks I am this week. I got rid of him a couple of years, I think it was like 2-3 years ago, because he still worked for the Witch Walk. She finally fired him because he went on this rant about one of the tour customers calling them homophobic. I investigated.
He found them. He found their store and like started writing a bunch of reviews and calling the store.
Right, which
psychopath.
Like, okay, I looked at everything. I did tell Lorelai I could see where the guy might have sounded homophobic, but I did not feel that that was the gentleman's intent. I don't think it was his intent.
No.
And so he just misspoke, and he did sound stupid in my opinion, but I don't think he was some raging homophobe. But that's neither here nor there. If you're working for me as a tour guide and you go and represent my business by bashing another business on reviews that you didn't even use, you didn't go to that business, you didn't patronize that business, but you're going to go bash that business's reviews as the employee and or contractor of my business, I'm going to fuck you up. Like, don't you dare fucking do that. And that's why Lorelai fired him. You know, well, actually, that's not even true, because she fired him. No.
Didn't he fight Frankie?
Yeah, that was what it was. But he didn't know. Like, she told me in October, I'm not bringing him back. But she didn't tell him until April. You know, probably so it would be harder to get a license, you know, whatever. But she didn't tell him until April. And then she went to city council and said, you know, I don't want him licensed under me. Well, that's when he pulled the fucking boner. Like, I was going to leave all this shit alone. This ain't my circus. It's not my zoo. Don't you ever. You want to really piss me off. You want to really make an enemy. Do not do this.
Yeah.
He went to the city council and he said, Lori Cabot and Christian Day will speak up for me against this, meaning against Lorelai. So you're using...
Because he thought you loved him. He told me over and over again that you love him. He's going to be the next you. You're going to groom him. And I'm like, no. I'm going to
groom him? Now, I will give you grooming is something he needs, but not the kind of grooming he's talking about. It's called, you know, deodorant, soap, toothpaste. That's the kind of grooming he needs. First of all, I wouldn't groom. Okay, he knows his history. He's a good tour guide. I have seen him represent Salem in the media, and I was horrified. He is the last person in that city I would groom for any sort of thing. Like, that's another lie. It just would never happen. It's ridiculous. So, anyhow, I just grabbed that face. What face did I going to get? And he's a designer. God knows what he's going to do about it. So anyway, he used my name at city council as a weapon against my best friend and one of my best friends and one of my strongest business allies. No. Not something you do. So, I called him at like 3 and I think it was like 2 in the morning when I heard about it. And you've heard me scream. And this was at the top end of the scream. Like, this was, I don't even know what he said, because there was no space in which I was not screaming. Miserable motherfucker, don't you ever fucking use my name in a public forum like that as a weapon. I literally told some of the city councilors, I was like, unless you have a signed document with my name saying I'm sticking up with this person, I'm not. Like, do not ever fucking use my name like that. Like, that just really pissed me off. So, I realize I have my reputation here, there, Salem, everywhere else, but at least people know where they, it's like, everybody knows I'm, foul and filthy mouthed, and they get it. Most of them like me, or at least tolerate me, because they know I'm good for business and I care about the city of Salem. I want to see everyone succeed. I want to see the shops, even new ones that come in. We have a lot of new shops here in New Orleans, and I make a point, like with Fatima Maboji. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. oh God, why am I forgetting the name of her store? Because I'm old. But she's just fabulous, and she has a new shop on North Rampart, and I'm going to get it now because now I'm determined. What a wonderful person. You know, when you see these people come into town, and you know they're nervous because, you know, when you're the new person, you want to hope, oh, I hope they don't all think I'm not bringing anything, you know, exciting to the mix or whatever. And, you know, just Path of Awakenings. It's a store and gallery. She also designed the New Orleans Oracle deck, which she was self-publishing for a while, but now it's come out from, you know, U.S. Games, which is the largest tarot distributor in the world.
Good for her.
Just a wonderful, you know, so you try to say, oh, you're new in town. Let's go have dinner. You know, we're going to go to dinner when little COVID is over, but you know, you try to roll out the red carpet so these people feel like they're part of a team. You know, we're all serving the tourists and the visitors and making things better. So that was the end of me and Tom.
Hate him.
And that was the end of me and Tom. And then, so next thing you know, Tim and Leanne rebuilt traditional covens of New England, the traditionalist covens of New England, which represented, you know, Gardnerians, Alexandrians, Celtic traditionalist Gwithenade, Minoan Brotherhood, Minoan Sisterhood, all the different things that sort of fall under their umbrella. And I allowed them and encouraged them even to hold open public circles in the back of Omen, which they did, I think, right up until COVID. And so, you know, and I don't know if they'll still want to with the new store, but they're certainly, you know, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But like, I actually think Sandra might be doing them, though. I don't know once COVID is over, because, you know, we're Alexandrian, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
And anyway, I've never been to a single one of them. Not one. And so Tom calls up Michael Carell yesterday morning because Melissa Mayhem had shared something. She's one of the Hex WitchCon presenters, sorry.
I love her.
Fabulous tattoo artist, amazing person. One of the 5 most...
She did 2 tattoos to me. It's amazing.
Yeah, she's also one of the most magical people I've ever met, you know, Melissa Mayhem. Mm-hmm. And so, anyway, Melissa posted innocently, oh, I'm going to be at WitchCon, and this weird thing called a pixie rose. And I don't know what it is. It's strange looking to me. But I don't always understand the Gen Z thing, but, you know, she's definitely in the letter Z. So she gets on there and starts going on about how I've assaulted all these young girls and queer people. You know, like I'm out there with a baseball bat, or, you know, like, everybody run, I'm coming for the queer people. Like, first of all, I'm fucking gay.
She's never even met you.
No, I've walked, and I think I've walked, and again, almost everyone Lorelei hires looks the same. You know, it's that same little thin, pretty girl with the pixie haircut, you know, so it's like, they all look alike. I wouldn't know. I know I've walked past any number of people that look like that at the front counter of Crowhaven Corner. She don't work there anymore, thank God. But I literally walked past so many people that have worked for Crowhaven that look like that. So I wouldn't even know if I've met her. And I think I've only... I don't remember if I messaged her or I just told Tim and Leanne. But I think I messaged her to say, stay out of my store. Because Tom started posting all this nasty smack about me. Mm-hmm. And so he claimed to Michael Carell that I threw her out of the coven when I found out they were dating. I'm like, first of all, it's not a coven. They were public rituals in the back of a store. Secondly, I didn't... what I did was I saw Tom saying all this shit against more Lorelei than me, but some of it was me, but most of it was against Lorelei. And she was liking it and chiming in. And it's like, oh, no, bitch. Yeah. That's not how this... As Penny Cabot says, we got a tribe in Salem. And you in the tribe or you ain't in the tribe. And sorry, bitch, you ain't in the tribe. And you're dissing people in the tribe, so now you got to go. So I called up Tim and Leanne and I said, I don't want this hoe in my stow, you know, so to speak. I don't want her at Omen. I don't want her in these rituals. I don't want to deal with her. So I thought nothing of it. until quite recently, when she's bashing me and saying I assault all the, this goes back to when the, apparently I doxed them all. No, when these girls at Gulu Gulu were publicly bashing our store because they had heard that I was a transphobe, and I said, did you see anything that says I was no, but we think you are. And I'm like, based on what? Oh, do you have me on in the background? Make sure I'm not on.
No, I just got a notification, and it was Sandra's live.
Oh, okay. So anyway, all right. So, he calls Carell, and, he's screaming the first time. And Michael's like, you've never screamed at me like that. I'm like, well, give it time. No, he'd probably kill me. I think he might be scarier than me. And Marta's definitely scarier than me. So I haven't seen it, but I know it's there. I'm like, I don't know. I might get thrown downstairs or something. So anyway, so then people start commenting to Pixie because she's being a twat. And so Tom's like, you're picking on me, and, calls up Michael demanding a retraction and all this. So he calls,
Who's retracting?
Huh?
Who's going to retract? It's all fact.
Well, there you go. So, anyhow, Michael gets him to call a third time because he accused me of sexual assault and said I sexually assaulted him at Hex. And I'm thinking, that is a very serious, not for nothing. My mother was raped and nearly murdered when I was 15 years old. And you grew up, she was your Auntie Mary. I mean, You grew up with her. You were very close.
Yeah, I love Auntie Mary.
And it's nothing against Me Too. And I do see our chauvinist patriarchal society as a big reason why women don't get justice for sexual assault. But I refuse to be quiet on the fact that you are never going to truly address the issue of sexual assault until you equally address the issue of false accusation. And yes,
you're not wrong. I say the same thing all the time. I know the statistic, but it's only 5% of, police, accusations are, only 5% are false. No, that goes to court. But the court of public opinion is very powerful. And I have seen certain feminists say, it's okay if they're not going to jail. They just lost their job. But, if they're innocent, so be it. It's not like they went to jail. It's their name. It's not just their name. What if they got 4 fucking kids to feed? And a wife at home that doesn't have any work skills and she's been a housewife or whatever the case. This person you've just falsely accused loses their ability to feed their kids. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
it's that 5% that ruins it for the other 95%.
But it's not. My point is, it's not 5%. It's 5% in the law. Like, that is a very misleading statistic that the feminists toss around, because it is 5% of somebody going to the police is 5%. When you're talking about the rumor mill and people calling around and going around behind the scenes and what have you, I'm willing to bet it's fucking 40%. You want to know why? Because I literally started out in 2002 with Jody Cabot telling half of Salem I was a child molester, and it's all been downhill from there. I've been a murderer. The only thing they haven't accused me of is bestiality. So save it for your big bingo card. It's the only one I haven't gotten. Like, I have literally had everything said about me in the court of public opinion. And so I get people come to me and they go, we need to get this person out of the community forever. They are a shame and they are a stain and they are this. And I'm like, look, it is, I did invite somebody to Hex Fest because there was some WitchCon or whatever it was, because there was some serious, I'm not going to name names, but there was some serious allegations and there was merit to them. But it was the hardest decision I've ever made. Because, yes, I'm all for believing the victim, but they need to be a victim. I don't believe Tara Reid. I never did. I wanted to smell Joe Biden's fingers. I'm like, I just do that. I'm just saying, I don't think, I don't even know what I feel about this. I haven't looked into it enough to know what I think about the situation with Governor Cuomo, just because, literally,
because of my own life experience, it took me like 9 of the Cosby accusers before I paid attention. And I still don't believe that Janice Dickinson. But like, people might think, well, that's not fair. Well, you know what? Stop lying about fucking people. Stop lying about people. So Carell managed to get him on a third call. I should play the call. And by the way, bitches,
play the call.
Massachusetts. I don't want to play it because I haven't heard it yet. I'm afraid it might have something I don't want to hear. Like that'll like piss me off in some moment of something he said I didn't know he said, and I'm going to be like, and breaking my tech. So like, because no, so I'm like, Michael, what do you mean I sexually assaulted him? Where? We said it was Hex, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute here. I didn't hire Tom till 2011 or whatever it was. May have been 2012 actually. Late 2011, early 2012.
I think it was 2011 because I remember taking him for the walkthrough during the witch walk.
Right. Oh, Christian said you do not want to listen to it. Oh, because I sent it to Storm. I heard 2 minutes of it, or a minute of it, and I had to. Well, it's like people would always ask me, oh, "What did you think of Ronald French's video?" I'm like, I couldn't. I watched like 30 seconds of one, and that was it. Like, not even because I didn't want to know what he was saying. Just the voice was so droning. And I'm like, I'm not listening to this shit no matter what he's saying about me. I don't want to hear the voice. It's like, Tom, I listened to half a minute of this and I'm like, I can't listen to this. It wasn't even as much what he was saying. It was just the whiny delivery. Right. So I'll just let other people listen and tell me, or I'll send it to rev.com and have it transcribed. By the way, if you're an author, that's the best tool, rev.com, because they actually will physically, by a person, transcribe your voice. So anyway, he gets Tom a third time on the phone, and in Massachusetts, it's 2-party consent, meaning nobody can record a call unless everybody agrees. That's not the case in Louisiana. And since this is where the recording was happening, yes, I have a recording of that third call. And, yeah. So this was the sexual assault. Oh, Angela says.
Why would you sexually assault him?
I might have to. We might have to.
Husband with hygiene.
I not only have a husband. Have you looked at my husband? Like he's 10 times better looking than fucking.
He's clean. That's a twofer right there. He showers and he looks good.
Right. So you need to call in more. So, but anyway, like, okay, so Tom said, well, Michael kept pressing him, like, what's the assault? And he's like, something to the effect of, that I told all these people that I fucked him. And that's, first of all, that's not sexual assault. He also said that I told people he smells. Well, of course
he does smell.
Who hasn't said he smells? There's not a person in that.
Stand downwind from him, and you know he smells.
If there's ever been a person that's been in a room with him that didn't say to someone else later, man, that dude really smells, I would be fucking shocked. Storm Sestivani said, I seen this guy, and I told Christian that if he actually had sex with this guy, I would perma-cancel him. Well, first of all, if you look under all of that, it's not like he has bad features. He's just too short, it's like, for all we know, Cousin It's handsome under all that. I don't know, but first of all, I have a simple rule. If I can't see it, I don't want to be able to smell it. So if I can, right, if you've got your hoochie under several layers of fabric and I can still smell that thing wafting through the air, I have an issue. First of all, I was like, Michael, connect the dots here. The guy's saying I told people he smelled. Why would I say I fucked him? First of all,
It's like high school. You know, they try to say they banged the cheerleader. They try to say they banged the... Nobody ever said... Did anybody ever tell you in high school, hey, Angel, I fucked that girl with the green teeth? Like, nobody says that. Nobody says that.
Because it's not something to brag about.
Right. I wouldn't tell... If I'd ever had a moment, Brian's like, Kristen, did you really... I think he was kidding. He's like, did you really go there? I'm like, if I did, do you think I would tell half the city? I had, like, Tim, Leanne... Kevin, Sandra, all on the phone. They've all known me longer than I've known Tom, and I've never said to a one of them, and God knows I've told Leanne, you know, yeah, I did this and I did that one or whatever I did. And I've never, like, I would never go there. And the best part was, the what the sexual assault of Pixie was. Because the first couple calls, it was something about touching breasts and nudity and all of this. And I'm like, in the back of Omen, like, I was never in a coven with this girl. I've certainly never been nude with her. I don't even know what this is about. Well, apparently it's the you know, she was the May Queen, won Beltane. And Tim doesn't remember if he kissed her on the lips as an offering to the goddess. And I can see where some people might be weird about that in this day. And well, I really can't. But, you know, whatever. You know, the consent crowd. But I'm sure that this was planned or whatever it was. But apparently I sexually assaulted her because she was kissed in the back of Omen. Now, I was here. I haven't been to a single ritual in the back of Omen. I haven't. And, like, ugh. First of all, I know this is going to sound misogynistic, and Brian hates when I say it. When I think of women, I think of Sheila and Gig. You know, yeah, Storm said it. I am a platinum gay. I crawled out of that Charybdis maw, that fanged tunnel worm of hellmouth, 51 years ago.
Vagina?
Pretty much. I have... 51 years ago, and I never looked back. You know, well, like the time they called me a womanizer. You know, so wait, I got to play the call. I haven't heard it yet, so I don't know what to expect.
Oh, I'm excited.
Huh?
I said, oh, I'm excited.
Wait, hold on. We're going to play the call. What the hell here? Okay, hold on. I don't know what to expect. I might stop along the way. Just to break it down.
All right, I had dad stuff to do. What's up?
I was just calling you because you told me I was ranting.
Yeah, it took me a long time to piece together most of what you said, but you said that Kristen sexually assaulted you.
The problem you have is you think that because I won't allow you to do a soliloquy and that I interrupt you, that I'm ranting, so you don't listen to me.
You were yelling, dude. I don't even know you that well.
Do you want me to repeat myself?
Sure.
Oh, I can't hear it.
Okay.
Which part?
Wait, why can't you hear it?
I'm hanging up.
The entire time that I worked for Christian,
wait, hold on. Can everyone... Wait.
I didn't find out until years after I was working for him. It is fucking...
Hold on. Did anybody else not hear it? Why couldn't you hear it?
I don't know. I think because I'm on the phone.
Oh, well, before you hang up, did everyone else hear it? Okay,
yeah,
so...
they can hear it.
All right, well, then hang up, and then call back after it's done.
I will.
All right, bye. Hold on.
Disgusting.
Okay, we're gonna
find out until the entire...
Hold on.
The entire time that I worked for Christian, he told people that I was fucking him, and I didn't find out until years after I was working for him. It is fucking disgusting. Like, literally, people around Salem, people around the country, random motherfuckers. Okay, and then after him and I started having problems, you know what he did on Facebook? Every single time he said he talked shit about me, he would talk about how I smell. He would talk about intimate things. He wouldn't just be like, Tom is a bad guy. He would be like, Tom has a stench like blah, blah, blah. That motherfucker never got close enough to smell me.
Well, okay,
He's acting like he gets all up in my shit and smells me. Dude, that's fucked up, okay? Secondly, my girlfriend, Pixie, her own problem with him had nothing to do with me.
Oh, wait. I'm just going to stop for a second. First of all, one doesn't have to get close to Tom Valor to smell him. You can smell this man from 20 feet away. I mean, give me a break. Isaac, what did I just walk? Well, Isaac, ask your friend. I don't know if he's friends with Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles, that, the one that stole all the money from the store in New Orleans and used to be in Salem. I'm sure we can deduce who that is. Anyway, don't tell me you can't tell this guy. Like, literally, anybody that's ever been to Salem knows this guy smells. If you stood within 20 feet of him, you know that the stench is so bad. Like, that's just without, oh, here we go. I don't know what part it is, Tim. Tim, you're going to have to call in. I don't know what he's talking about. Well, he's wrong, so, like, hold on. Why do I got to get this? Why do people interrupt my jam and my flow right in the middle of my jam and my flow? Michael, what part is Tim... do not do this to me when I'm on the phone. Tim, you're going to have to call in. It's 608 Warlock. I don't know what else to say, because I don't know what part it is, and so therefore, if I start to hear it, I'll try to go over it, but I don't think it's fair or true.
The way that you came at that shit, I had to jump in and defend her, because that's messed up, man. You know, just like you say, you don't know her, you don't know what she's been through.
First of all, this cunt came on Melissa's wall and said I was assaulting young girls and queer people. You don't, first of all, y'all have freedom of speech, motherfuckers, but you don't have freedom from consequence. Well, I don't know what to tell you, Tim. Like, if this were the case, I've certainly talked about playing this before. So this telling me during the show doesn't really work. I will try to forward past the thing that he doesn't want aired, if I can, though I think it sort of matters that other people are getting accused of false things as well. So, anyway, with this Pixie person, you get freedom of speech. You don't get freedom from other people's speech. If you say something that people don't like, they have freedom of speech to say, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it is. Once you go out there and attack people, people aren't going to like this. First of all, let's just say I was some of these things, which I'm not. It's so rude to go on somebody's wall like that. There isn't a person on my friends list that doesn't post something once in a while where I just want to go and comment and go, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Whatever it's about. Tim says, I can't, have text conversations with you, Tim. So I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so, I don't go on people's walls and say, if you're going to a concert of a singer I don't like, I'm not going to be like, you know what I mean? I'm not, because it's so stupid. I don't even know who this person is. Why? Oh, they're screening. Okay, good. I like the little call screening automatic thing. So anyway, oh wait, we're gonna play more. Hold on.
She worked in Salem. She worked with Lorelei. She was in a coven with all of Christian Day's employees.
Not a coven.
The May Queen. She then was chosen to lead the coven, write rituals, lead all the rituals for Christian Day's store. That's what she was doing.
Okay, this is absolute bullshit. And Tim, since I know you're listening, you want me to call him such a pussy. So here's the thing. I love when they have to be screened and they hang up. It means they were afraid to say what they want. All right, so here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that, I believe Leanne said to me, we didn't want her there either. And I really doubt very much, but since Tim won't call, I'm going to just guess.
But I really doubt very much that they had little Pixie writing the rituals to represent the traditionalist covens of New England, known as T-Cone, which represents Gardnerian, Alexandrian, Minoan Brotherhood, Minoan Sisterhood, Celtic Traditionalist, Gwithenade, and maybe Welsh. I don't know. I know there's something else there. And none of which Pixie is initiated into. And from what I understand, never having been into any of these rituals, from what I understand, each holiday represented a different tradition, and I guess Beltane and Samhain, Halloween, represented Celtic Traditionalist Gwithenade, which is a Welsh tradition, offset of New England Covens of Traditionalist Witches, NACTW, and if I'm getting it right. And she wasn't initiated into that, so I really find it hard to believe Tim and Leanne were having this girl writing the rituals. I'm sure I'll find out. Let me see. Well, at least tell me that. Hold on. I'm going to text him. Did Pixie write the rituals? I don't know. I wasn't there. This is the most irritating part of it. Like, I wasn't there, but I apparently raped this girl, kissed this girl, felt up her tits, all in the back of Omen, where I never was. I've never been to any of these rituals. Hold on, let me go for a little more here. Hold on, I'm gonna get a little more.
When he found out that she was dating me,
so wait,
said,
it was a coven?
You have to dump Tom. Yes, you know the coven that Neil, or Nathaniel Hawthorne, he calls himself?
No.
First of all, it's Nicholas Hawthorne, not Nathaniel. That would be a famous author.
Hawthorne. He's a psychic reader in Salem that's employed by Christian Day. He's a gay.
First of all, Neil hasn't worked for me in at least a year. He works exclusively for Crowhaven Corner now.
Dude who cuts his hair short and dyes it blonde.
Because that's so evil.
Okay.
Well, it's like I'm saying, there's a lot of people involved in this that you literally don't even know about. Like, she was chosen to run the coven at Christian Day's store. And then they told her, like, she would go to, she was at a ritual one time, and the guy, Nathaniel, got really, really drunk and...
Hold on. Give me a second. How do I do a call out? Make outbound call. Hold on. Damn it. Give me a second. I think I can Bluetooth it. I'm going to Bluetooth it. Oh, Tim just texted me back. I was going to have to call Leanne. I was about to call in Leanne. Yeah, the answer to her writing the rituals was never.
Started telling racist jokes in front of a black person.
Okay, first of all, I really highly doubt that Nicholas Hawthorne or anybody else in the back of Omen would be telling any sort of racist joke any more than they would be grabbing this girl's tits. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Like, the same girl that's accusing him of racist jokes is saying I'm physically assaulting, whatever that means, all these young girls and queer people.
And the black dude was just like, man, I gotta get out of here. This is too much. And he left. Talking shit about trans people.
Yeah, I doubt that. That's the other thing. First of all, there's no way that happened. With the number of people that go to this ritual, if there were any sort of transphobia, racism, or anything else, I would have heard about it. Nothing remotely, Angela Potter. Let's see the rape kit. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Trans person, then they can't be a high priest if they're a high priestess because they were born one way or the other.
First of all, that's absolutely not true. I've personally spoken to Neil about this, and that position that just got attributed to him is not true.
literally argued with her about that publicly online, and she had to deal, like, so she's disillusioned with this coven not being what it is. She's feeling like, oh, maybe she doesn't belong here.
It's not a coven. It's public rituals in the back of a store that anybody can go to. I mean, look, I've been a part of those sort of ad hoc covens where you get together and go to somebody's house and, you know, it's sort of a coven. And my husband gets irritated because to him a coven is, you know, you're initiated into a coven. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he don't even think, like, to gather at somebody's house and call it a coven is a coven. But I am certainly not stretching it to include anybody in the back of a store. It's not a coven. Sorry. And nor did Tim and Leanne or anybody else ever portray it as this. Isaac said, oh, great, this trans performative. I deal with the trans performative all the time. I said that J.K. Rowling had one point that she made, that sex is dimorphic, and then literally went on to say she insidiously and disingenuously translated her views on sex, which, I mean, there are two sexes. I mean, I get intersex does not invalidate a dimorphic species until intersex people start sprouting tomatoes out of their nose and cucumbers from their ears. We are a dimorphic species. The variations of intersex people only codify that we are a dimorphic species, but that has nothing to do with trans. Gender is a social construct. Even the TERFs and the crazy TERF feminists will say that gender is a social construct. They just think we should get rid of it, whereas the trans people think we should expand it to, you know, 136 genders, whereas the Sheila Jeffreys of the world was, we'll just get rid of gender, you know, don't have any restrictions at all. I don't really think they're all that different in their argument. They just hate each other. It's very, if you actually start to break down their bullet by bullet points, they're not all that different in their argument. But anyway, she insidiously and disingenuously, J.K. Rowling, applied that dimorphic binary to gender in a way that I thought was an author's sort of trick, and people didn't call her out for it, and I thought it was horrible. And that became, I was defending her. Like, how is that? Because I thought, well, she started out with this point that made sense and then went batshit. Is that really defending her? I mean, I guess that's a reach. I mean, the people that said I defended J.K. Rowling, I think that's a real reach. If that's what we're calling defending these days, these people are next level retarded. And I know you're not supposed to say that either, but until people stop being retarded, I'm going to keep saying retarded. Let's play some more here. Hold on.
And they all attack her. These people they're all much older than her. They're all full-grown adults. When you say this is some high school shit.
Dude, you're at least 20 years older than her. Jesus Christ, you're not even robbing the cradle, you're robbing the womb.
If Christian Day was in high school with Pixie, that there already is a red flag right there, because he's a lot older than her, and that's creepy. He's already too much older than me to be telling people that.
Not that much.
That he's fucking me.
Okay, but you said he sexually assaulted you. That's a serious charge for you not to have some details. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I do
Did
have
he
to.
grab
I literally
you?
just
What?
told you to my fucking fate, oh my fucking God. You need to understand something.
Hold on. I gotta figure this out. Give me just a second. I gotta do something here. Because now it's gotta be, like, we gotta have some fun. Hold on. You can even Bluetooth into this. You can Bluetooth into the Rodecaster. Never answers the phone. Never answers the phone. You know, just saying. Now
No, so no. Tom is bi. Tom, at least as far as I know, he used to date a friend of mine named Roger years and years ago. And according to one of my friends in Salem, Pixie used to be a lesbian, but now she's bi because she's with Tom. And of course, my response to that is, no, she's still a lesbian. Yeah. Oh wait, we're gonna have a little more. Hold on.
Thing.
What?
When? Like, have you been watching the news? Do you know about the governor in New York, Anthony Como, what happened with him recently?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that, like, literally take what you're saying to me and say that to the girl who's accusing him?
You think that they're not going to ask the girl for details?
Why didn't you call the police? They say, why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you call the police?
Okay.
She said, at the time, he was in a position of power. I was afraid. I didn't know what to do, so she didn't do anything. And now it's a few years later, and she's coming out, and people are like, well, you didn't go to the police, so you're a liar.
Well,
is that what you're saying? So
no,
I'm asking
right now, I'm asking you about what you said. You said straight to me that Christian Day assaulted you. How? What? Why? Where? Details.
He was telling people that we were fucking the entire time that I worked for him. And I didn't find out until afterwards when other people told me.
So that's the sexual assault. Is that what you're saying? That's harassment.
Serious.
That's maybe being an asshole. But you said to me that Christian Day sexually assaulted you. Hey, dog, knock it off.
Sexual assault doesn't include just physical things. It can be verbal too. That is still assault. And all of the things that he did, lording his power over me.
Dude, listen, wait a minute. Throwing that accusation out there, that's fucking serious, okay? That's bullshit. What you're doing right here is some bullshit fucking mental gymnastics, man.
I fucking love you, Michael Correll. Fucking, hold on.
That's not sexual assault. You can call it harassment.
Sexual assault.
Why don't you just say he harassed me?
Right now. No, look it up. Google it right now.
Google it!
Google it right now. I'm on a Facebook call.
Google it!
I will go up look at sexual assault and sexual harassment. Maybe it would be that. But you said assault, dude. You need to choose your words really carefully when you say shit like that. That's a hell of an accusation to be making.
And I will make it, it's not an accusation, it's the truth. And I will make it over and over again. And all of the, that link that I sent to you that you couldn't look at, it didn't just have like one or two people. It had dozens of people saying,
No. He's talking about Shauna Orr Knight, the biggest fucking dumpster fire. Like literally 90% of these people on her thread, I'd never heard of, I never met. They just insert themselves into my story just so that their lives can be more interesting because now they're connected to my story and that gives them some sense of meaning and purpose in life because, I'm fabulous. And so, literally Shauna Knight got thrown. I have the screen capture where she talks about being thrown out on her ass and they were trying to get a restraining order on her because she was stalking these people she was living with. And that's his example. This fucking cunt that was stalking this poor couple she's living with, they threw her out, just threw her out. No notice, get out with the restraining order. Like, don't talk about me, bitch.
It's weird. Somebody said something online once and I liked the comment and he sent me all these messages and doxed me. Another person being like, oh yeah, there was this thing about this girl that he said he hoped she got raped and then everybody that she was friends with got attacked. And I remember that. I remember when he was attacking her. He would call me in the middle of the night. He would call me up and be like, do you know so-and-so, you're mutual friends on Facebook? I'd be like, I don't know who the fuck that is. He would be like, unfriend all this person and this person right now or you're fired. Like in the middle of the goddamn night. So I know how he is. And I've seen how he is with people. The way when he abuses one person, it becomes tentacles that reach out and it's everybody involved with them. And you've seen it too. Don't lie and say that you haven't seen it. You shouldn't contribute to that.
That's the thing. What I've seen.
What Pixie said is her own personal experience. She said, what happened?
She said that he has assaulted so many people. That's bullshit. Okay, how many people? What are their names? Details. The devil's in the details. You don't play vague shit like that when making an accusation against somebody. Not on my watch.
You can Google it, dude. You can Google it. There's like 5 different people who've written entire blog posts about him. There's people that have like.
So somebody wrote a blog post.
Hold on, cunt. No, get it right. First of all, don't diminish my fame or douse my candle here, bitch. There's way more than 5 fucking blogs written against me. I probably read hundreds of blogs written against me over the years. Don't give me just 5, bitch. Don't be dimming my shade.
Saying Christian assaulted them?
Oh my Jesus Christ. Okay.
Who wrote a blog post that said Christian
5
assaulted them?
seconds. 5 seconds back in time. When I say that there is I say, quote, dude, there is 5 different people who have written entire blog posts detailing all of the information.
Way more than 5, cunt!
Come back at me and you say, oh, someone wrote a blog. So who was it? Dude, that's not what I said. You're trying to downplay literally everything I say.
I'm asking you who wrote a blog that said that Christian assaulted them.
Google it. Google Christian Day abuse. Literally. Dude, I'm not here to do good research.
Google it.
You see it all. There's no reason you're playing
so
stupid.
abuse is going to bring up assault. No, I know Christian says some bad words.
Why am I even talking about this? You literally are defending him no matter what I say. There's no use talking to you about this.
Well, you say vague things like Pixie that can't be backed up.
That's it. Pixie? Well, literally, you're attacking a young woman because she said an old man was harassing her.
She didn't.
Listen, cunt, he's not that much younger than me. Maybe 7 years.
Say that in the post, and I didn't respond to that. She said that he has assaulted so many people and girls.
Google it.
Including her.
She didn't say that in that post. I was not responding to that.
Do you know a girl? Do you know a girl who goes?
It took a week to get her pussy stink off my face.
I just if you look at your mutual. Go on Facebook, right? Go through your friends list, all the people that are that you know in the pagan community. If you just type into your Facebook search and just go Christian Day and then search by post.
Google it!
And then just look through that. You're going to find someone who's saying, holy shit, I can't believe, that, Christian Day is doing this thing, with online soon with all the, stuff go against him and all the crazy things. Literally, it's common knowledge. I live in Salem. I went into City Hall to renew my tour guide license every single year that I worked for him, and the people in City Hall treated me like shit. The day that I stopped working for him, they all laughed, and I was like, yep, I don't work for him anymore, yay! And they were like, oh my gosh, we're so happy for you.
First of all, that's a lie, and it's a provable lie, because I gave up my half of the witch walk at least 1.5 years before Lorelei fired him. It might have been 2.5 years, but it was at least 1.5 years. This is provable. We have corporate records that I gave up the witch walk. This is provable. He continued to work for the witch walk after I was gone, and I'm not going to name names, but I have friends on the city council, and let me tell you, that no one is a fan of Tom Valor.
He is literally famous for abusing people. He had to leave Salem because of it. Why do you think he said, oh, I moved to New Orleans because I want to get away from the drama in Salem? It's because everyone...
No. That isn't why I moved to New Orleans. That's not why I moved to New Orleans. I moved to New Orleans to open a 3rd store. And I thought, if I'm going to have a store down here, I should live here 6 months here and 6 months in Salem, which is why, and I'm happy to get the landlord and call her in. I think Kevin might still have her number. Is it Janine? I can't remember. I think I might have her number in my phone. My former landlord. I kept my apartment up there, and I was living 6 months and 6 months. Here and there.
And in 2012, I went back up to Salem. Like, I spent a certain number of months here, and then before October, I went up to Salem. Like in September, I believe it was, I went up to Salem. And then I came back down the following spring. I met Brian, who had just moved here in March of 2013. We became boyfriends, and we moved in July of 2013. So by this point, it became very clear that I was going to need to choose which place I was going to live. And Brian didn't want to live in Salem. And so, especially after the October, because he realized what it's like. So, yeah, am I happy that, you know, I you know, am not in Salem? To some degree. You know, I walked away from all that, but it wasn't, when I say walked away from what I don't like about Salem, it's sort of, he's oversimplifying it because, yeah, it certainly made it easier to say to Brian, you know what, I'm going to live just here. If I really was jonesing to go back to Salem, and the only real reason that I'd want to go back to Salem, because I can talk to my friends there every day, so it's not that. The only real reason that I would want to go back to Salem is because I get more publicity in Salem. And it's not that I want publicity for its own sake. I never have. I know that it's free advertising. So if I get on an episode of Ghost Adventures, I don't know if Glenn Kennedy's still watching, but if I get on it, he'll tell you, media buys expensive. You know, he worked for an ad agency. If I go to to buy 45 minutes of time on the Travel Channel, all the times that they've re-aired my episode of Ghost Adventures, it would cost me millions of dollars. So when someone wants to put me on TV, the answer is always yes. So, because it's free advertising for the businesses. And it also allows me to define the narrative of witchcraft, which of course is a big reason people hate people like me or Laurie Cabot or anybody else that has a lot of say over the narrative of witchcraft because of the amount of publicity that they get. Excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, it's not why I left Salem. It's just why I'm glad I'm not there. I walked away from all those things in Salem more because of what was here. I loved New Orleans, and I loved my now husband, Brian. And I still, you know, I don't mean to say loved. I love my husband very much. He's amazing. But my point is, yeah, if I was that determined, every once in a while Brian goes, would you rather live in Salem? When I get frustrated with the inefficiency of this city, I'm like, yeah, no. In fact, whenever I do get on my rants about the inefficiency of this city on my wall, inevitably something goes on in Salem to remind me of what this is all like, you know, up there. Dorian Wallace said, you were thinking about opening one in England around that time too, and you settled on NOLA. Well, even since then, I actually had a whole plan, if Trump got reelected, to open a store in England, probably not London, but you never know, and I would have lived there. I have a whole strategy past the citizenship that would cost about $300,000. You know, and basically, well, it doesn't cost that. You have to put that in an account and then spend it there and open the store. And within a certain number of years, you have to have 2 full-time employees. So I could create a whole e-commerce setup there with a small store feeding the e-commerce or whatever. I have a whole plan. And Brian and I would have lived in England. But I came to New Orleans to open a store. I loved New Orleans. I knew ever since I first came to New Orleans in 2000 how much I eventually wanted to either live here or at least go here a lot. You know, my friends Sandra and Kevin at one point talked about snowbirding and living 6 and 6 because people really love this city. Now, does it help that Salem's so fucking annoying? Well, yeah, but that's not why I left. Like, it's why I'm glad I'm not there.
When in Salem called him out, he couldn't go to the convenience store. He couldn't go to the restaurant.
I couldn't go to the convenience store. I couldn't go to the restaurants. Now, let me tell you something. The true sad thing in Salem is that I make an enormous amount of money from it. And I spend it all in an economy 1,400 miles away. So who's the winner here? You know what I mean? It isn't Salem. So I venture to say that that is not true about the restaurants. As a matter of fact, when I go into restaurants in October in Salem, everyone recognizes me. And the owners, if they're there, will come up and say hello. And everyone is kind to me because they know that how much we do, even not being there, even being 1,400 miles away, how much we do to promote tourism in Salem. We, Crowhaven Corner, and the Peabody Essex Museum are the 3 largest advertisers in Destination Salem's Visitor's Guide. We're the only entities with 2 full pages. Now, the Peabody Essex Museum has $600 million liquid in cash. So it's not inconceivable that the Peabody Essex Museum, which is the 13th largest museum in America, would have a 2-page ad. But for Crowhaven Corner and Hex and Omen to each have 2-page ads, that is a huge commitment, not only to our businesses, but to the city, because you're being a team player. You're raising the tide that lifts all boats, because 300,000 of those visitors' guides get sent out every year. And so let me tell you something. That city knows how well I advertise. There's not a convenience store or a restaurant that wouldn't welcome me through the door. They might not all know who I am, but the convenience stores won't. Let me tell you something. I am always well treated in restaurants in that city. They remember me. They know me. They know the people I'm with. If I go to Turner's, they'll know Sandra and Kevin because they go there a lot. I've gone to Turner's with Lori Cabot. By the way, Turner's seafood is amazing. But this is ridiculous. But let me listen to it.
Anywhere he went,
First of all, Tom couldn't afford to go to the restaurants that I eat in Salem, and they're not even as expensive as the ones I tend to go to here. But he couldn't afford an appetizer at Turner Seafood. Just saying.
Someone who is like, that's that asshole who treats people like shit and calls women cunts and harasses people in the middle of the night and says weird sexual stuff to.
First of all, I never called Lori Bruno in the middle of the night. Even the director of the Chamber of Commerce of Salem, who's from the Netherlands, he came up to me the year that happened. Oh no, you'd call us you. Like, give me a break. I'm not saying I won't call you a cunt. I'm just saying, if I call you up at 2 a.m. to call you a cunt, my caller ID is going to be on, and you're going to see my name on the caller ID. I'm going to make sure I say my name at least twice. So that was a lie.
People all the time, is obsessed with weird. He said he was going to stroke his cock in a graveyard at some woman.
I did say that.
That's some weird shit. How are you going to just sit by?
No, I did say that. No, I got to tell that story now.
You don't need me to tell you this. You've seen all this.
I got to tell that story.
I'm just going to stop. I can't do this.
Okay. You have a good night.
By the way, you do not have permission. You don't have permission to record this call. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cunt, but this is Angel callback. This is I know we're not doing much witchcraft. It's Salem drama, but it's fun, and I'm sure it has an audience. Yeah, I got more watchers this week than last week. They love the drama. So no, no. That part's true. No, this was like. So years ago, when Jody had half of Salem convinced I was a child molester, I had this weird woman, we call her the Face, Alicia Fullbirth or Afterbirth, that's what we like to call her. She's in this Connecticut or whatever she is, real crazy bitch. I call her the Face because she's literally got a round face. She looks like an emoticon. A little smile. What are they? Emojis. They don't call them emoticons. See, I'm old. The emojis. And so anyways, Afterbirth was like, she at the time, she was married to Rapid Cabot Freeman, who's not a Cabot, who is now a neo-Nazi white supremacist follower of Stephen McNallen, of all horrible people. And Jody, we don't know where she is. Isaac asked, where's Jody? I don't know. Her mother hasn't spoken to her in 15 years. I mean,
I will always love Jody. I'm sure her mother loves her. I'm sure her sister loves her, but it's one of those people you gotta love from way over there because she's fucking nuts. But anyway, I digress. So, anyhow, Rapid and Alicia later got divorced, but they had this, I'm a pedophile. And even after they divorced, Alicia kept this rumor going, and it was really upsetting. You know, and was going to go to, a friend of mine was going to her festival, so I wanted to advertise in her book. And she emails me back and said, we don't allow pedophiles at my festival. So needless to say, I was really upset. And, you know, I just really, 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 really upset. And I went back and forth a few times with her. And then, so in 2010 or 11, I think it was 2010, Z Budapest, you know, the famous transphobe, who recently, by the way, about a year ago, Sandra talked about what festivals do you all like, and mine's Hex Fest and all this. And Z gets on there. You know, she's like almost 80. That Christian Day and Brian Kane, they run a sausage fest called Hex Fest. And I know, because he sends me shades in the night that burn like hot flames. And I'm thinking, first of all, I've never done magic against Z Budapest. I thought about it, but I've never done it. But she thinks, like, literally, Melissa Mayhem goes on, validated. Because, I mean, literally, she's the founder of the women's spirituality movement. She's like the super feminist Wicca, witch, Dianic, whatever. And she thinks little old me is sending shades in the night that burn like hot flames. But I know how to get rid of them because I am a true witch. Cuckoo. Batshit. Yeah. Batshit.
What is this? Naughty pine!
Anyway, so batshit. No, so it was like 2010, and you know, Lori Bruno and I called her and said, "Look, you're presenting at this event, and this woman's publicly calling me a pedophile, so I'm doing this other event." It was actually with Rapid, which is embarrassing because what did they cast the circle in the east? God, is Linda McConnell listening? O'Connell, because they cast the circle, they cast east. All right, let me know if I'm here. My internet went down temporarily. Am I back? If you're on YouTube, I'm not even sure how they're going to know. Oh. Well, Birch is on YouTube. Can anyone see me? Can you see me on YouTube? Our entire internet in the house went out. Oh my God, that's goddamn annoying. Right in the middle of something too. Where was I? What was I saying? I'm old. I can't remember. And someone tell me what I was talking. I'm going to sit here and try to think. Papa, we can see you. Papa, can you hear me? Papa, can you see me? Papa, can you find me in the night? Papa, are you near me? Papa, can you hear me? Oh, yeah. So Rapid is, okay, so I said, I don't think it was rape. I said, I think that, you know, he gave her a dirty look, whatever. Or he gave her a look. He said he had a look in his eye that if I didn't put out, it was rape. I don't think that's rape. So that's when Z Budapest said to Lori Bruno and I on the phone, every time a man has sex with a woman, it's rape. I'm like, where's Angel? Is she going to call in? Wait a minute. Now I'm not even in the thing here. Hold on. I got to call back. I got to reconnect my call-in studio here. This is really annoying. Boop.
Thank you for calling Hex Offenders, live with Christian Day. Caller ID authorized as a host. Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
I absolutely love this call-in studio thing, by the way, if you have a podcast or something you want calls. So anyway, no, the one thing Tom said in that whole thing, well, no, I have called people cunts. That's the real thing. I have done that. Well, they have been cunts. A lot of them are cunts. A lot more people are cunts that I don't call cunts. I probably should call cunts, but I'm just, I'm trying to restrain myself. Brian says it's unpriestly to use that word. So anyway, so booty pest there. Yeah. So, she says it to Lori Bruno and we get off the phone and Lori's like, "Did you hear what I heard?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what did you hear what I heard?" Like she's saying every time a man has sex with a woman, it's rape. So, cuckoo. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going back and forth with Z in a message. I said, I really respected you because I thought you were for the underdog, even if it was usually just fellow women. I didn't think that was fair necessarily, but somebody wants to call about love spells for beginners. You might have to wait on that one because I'm sort of in a story here. We're in story mode tonight. I might have to go back to... I'm not really the dial a spell type anyway, but you never know. Put your period blood in the sauce, and it will have them forever. Secrets in the sauce. I still think that's how Leanne won over half of Salem. So any hoodle. So I'm going back and email with Z Budapest. I said, I really admired you. But now, because she had messaged me saying, "You are going to damage my tour because, by presenting at this other event, you are going to damage my tour." I sound like an old Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know. I can't do it. "You are going to damage my tour," and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I respected you. I thought that you were, a champion of the underdog. You're not even a champion of other women. You're just worried you're going to lose a few bucks. And at the end of her email, she said, You will endure my Hungarian ire if you continue to speak against this event that I am presenting at. Well, the woman's calling me a fucking pedophile, so you don't think I'm going to be quiet. So I said, I admired you. I thought you were a champion of women. And I said, and as for your Hungarian ire, one stroke of my cock in a graveyard would render useless anything you know how to do. So she ran around this festival because I had friends that were there. Christian Day cursed me with his penis, and then, years later, she thinks I sent her what was it, Sandra? Shades in the night, and they burn like hot flames. Because this all happened on Sandra's wall. It was like a year or whatever it was ago, and it supposedly, hot flames in the night. It was flames in the night. Yeah. No, I did say that. Tom was right about that. But not about most of it. It's like, hello. I mean, first of all, have you looked at me? Do you honestly think any restaurant is going to be mean to me? They're going to be nice to me the moment I walk in the door, even if they don't know who I am. I'm fat. Like, Jesus Christ, you see a fatty come into a restaurant, you're going to smile because you know you're going to make bank. Give me a break. I walk into a restaurant, they roll out the carpet. They get an extra menu, I'm just saying, this whole idea. See, I don't know if Sandra was listening the first time when they said, when they were saying, he said in the audio that I can't even go to the corner store, or I can't go to the restaurants, don't want me. Oh, and the city council's so much nicer to him now that Sandra goes, we order all the things. It is true. Especially when Sean was alive, because we took the Enneagram test with the 7 personality types, and he was an 8 with a 7 wing, which was a leader with a side of eccentricity, and I was the eccentric with the leader wing. So I was more the eccentric with the side of leader. He was the leader with the side of eccentric. And one of the key phrases of the type 7 is we don't want to miss out on anything. So Sean and I would go to restaurants and order 2 different soups each and only eat a little of each one because we just wanted to make sure we were tasting what was there. Or we'd have, like Sandra just said, we would tell them, we're beverage people, because we'd have a chocolate milk and a coffee and a soda and tea and, like all for one person. It's disgusting. I'm just saying, like, I'm fat. There's not a restaurant. And if they know me, like, Jesus, if I go into a restaurant with a bunch of friends, like, they exceed me on the drinks, but I definitely, because I want to try everything. So even if I don't eat it all, there'll be all these leftovers. I'm just picking on this and picking in this. And trust me, when I walk into a restaurant, they don't even have to know who I am. They're going to know. This guy's going to spend some money. He's at least going to eat half the menu. So, no, that was just a whole bunch of bullshit. I've said some really Fantasy Island named a booth after us, I think. Oh, that's funny. Well, when we go to Fantasy, I try to do this annual dinner with everybody type of thing, when we go up for Salem and invite, because a lot of times we're not there long enough to see every friend separately. So we'll get like a dinner together, where we'll have like Sandra and Kevin and Melissa and Lori Cabot and Penny and, a whole bunch of people we're not able to see, of course we see some of those people individually too, but there's a lot that we can't see. And so they all come to the Chinese restaurant, and those people treat me like gold. First of all, I used to host karaoke there. Oh, karaoke man, they know right away. And it's over 20 years since I've been there as a host, and 1996 I left. And so no, I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, first of all, I don't think Tom could afford the stuffed clams at Turner's, never mind a whole dinner. Like, usually if I get the stuffed lobster when I go there, and I have to get the lobster bisque, and I have to get the steamers, and then I want some fried clams, and then I want to get the stuffed clams, and, because I can't get any of that here, so I get it all. I might sometimes even eat it all. I get it all. So my bill alone will be like $150, $200. What did Angel say further up? Why isn't she calling? Where's Angel? She said he couldn't afford something, and I didn't see what she said. But no, she, maybe she got lost when the internet went out. But I mean, this is the kind of, and then Tom wonders why I don't want to be in Salem, because that's what you deal with. I mean, well, Sandra lives there. She doesn't deal with it because they're scared of her. But, like, she's like me. She's very self-absorbed into what she's doing. So if she's walking from Omen to Hex, she's not going to see these people. If they could give her dirty looks, she wouldn't, like, this is the Nazi people there. They give everybody dirty looks associated with me. And I said to Sandra, do they ever get, oh, no, they don't give me. I'm like, no, they do. You just don't see them. If you start looking, you'll see it. Because she's never going to look. Because she's into it. I'm going to do this. And I'm the same way. And if I don't have my glasses on, inevitably I get hate mail from people saying, by the way, where's Storm Sistavani? I want my cunt cast. Angel, hello.
Hello.
What did you say Tom couldn't afford?
Taco Bell.
Don't they have a value menu?
Yes.
So that's fucking shade. Okay, you have known me since I was born. The first words I heard...
Well, you've known me since I was born. You're older.
That's what I mean. Whatever. I remember when your mother brought you over, and you saw I had that Pier 1 Imports mosquito net around my bed, and you called it a mosquito net. And, I mean, am I really this horrible? Now I'm getting insecure. Like, what if what he's saying is true?
It's not true. You're a very loving person for people that are loving back to you. But what people don't seem to realize or respect is that if you get hit, you're going to hit back harder. They don't respect the harder.
That is strange to me. I mean, I try. I mean, a lot of times these days, I mean, like I say, it depends on what it is. I let most of it, like, there's so many things that are said about me I don't even respond to. I mean, Tom was right when some of that stuff was happening. I was kind of pissed with people that would interact with those people. But I really kind of don't do that as much in the last several years, and I never really did it that much, but I would be annoyed if people were like really interacting with someone calling me, you know, a child molester or something. You know, I'd be wondering why.
Because people shouldn't be your friend if they're friends with people that call you a child molester.
Right. I mean, but, you know, I try to draw a line. You know, like even when Pixie went on Melissa's wall, I said, no, I don't care what she's saying. You know, I said, oh, let me turn that off. I said, make your money. You know, if she wants to come and get a tattoo or whatever, you know, make your money. But, you know, if they're going to get serious, you know, and say the really, really awful things, yeah, I might hit back. You know what I mean? With that Shauna Knight, she kept dragging me. And then she was living with this guy, and he had a girlfriend. Excuse me. He had a girlfriend, and he had a wife, sorry. She was living with the husband, and the wife was the metamor. Like, she was fucking the husband, but not the wife. And at one point, she's trying to ask all her fans if she should call child services because she feels that the metamor is being emotionally distant with her children. That's when my friend Kenya Koviak, who's also speaking at WitchCon, that's when she jumped off, because she used to be friends with Shauna. She jumped off that bus at that point. I mean, it's not like she hadn't seen the crazy before, but it was never that bad. You know what I mean? And so when she did that, and it wasn't just Shauna, it was all the people watching saying, yeah, call child services. And it was very obvious to anyone with a brain that she wants the husband, her boyfriend, to herself, and wants the boyfriend's wife, the metamor, which means you're in a polyamorous, but you're fucking him and not her, out of the picture. And anyone with a brain knew that this was what this was. And, you know, she kept dragging me. And then at one point she got so crazy. Some of us would go read her wall just to be entertained. I know it's very shallow of me, but yes, I do it all the time. I did get some entertainment going to Shauna Knight's wall and watching her weekly meltdowns. She doesn't really melt. She never drags fantasy author boyfriend, but I still want to know who he is. But she was dragging this couple, you know, it started with the wife. Then because the husband would take the wife's side, now he was an abuser too. Like Tom the tour guide, everyone she has an issue with is an abuser. There's like that Sarah Ann Lawless. Literally, to hear Sarah Ann Lawless tell it, you would think that half of the pagan men in the world have raped her, to hear her tell it. So, like, well, Shauna Knight, everyone's an abuser. Well, one day she gets on there and she starts freaking out and she screams out, you know, and shouts, you know, in text, this woman's name. I said to myself, how many Mary Schweigers could there be in all of Wisconsin? So, I never told you this. So I sent all the screen captures of all the drags that I collected to Mary Schweiger and her husband. And someone just recently sent me I gotta look it up. Hold on. I gotta look it up because it's gonna be funnier. I'm pretty sure I know who it was that gave this to me. And now what? Literally just, oh, there she is. Hold on. Let's see. I gotta see. Going back. Oh, here it is. Okay, so Shauna posts. Great. So Christian Day apparently has another sock puppet account and has been grabbing screen grabs of what I post, has sent them to Mary Schweiger, and now she is trying to get a restraining order on me. Glenn seems to be going along with this. You can't get a restraining order against someone for having violent thoughts. What does that tell you, though? Like, what the fuck? Right, but in other words, the violent thoughts have obviously been expressed.
Yes, they have.
Like she's admitting that somehow she has conveyed these violent thoughts to them. Otherwise, this wouldn't even be mentioned. You can't get a restraining order against someone for having violent thoughts, nor can you get a restraining order for someone reporting unethical behavior of a massage therapist. First of all, what the fuck is she talking about Mary Schweiger's career for unless she's trying to split up the husband? What? Do you go around and bitch about every massage therapist you've ever heard something bad about? So,
no.
Or for reporting suspected child abuse, which was basically an emotional distance. You can't get a restraining order just because someone has PTSD, which usually she says she has CPTSD. Isn't there a difference? Someone has to have actually threatened to harm you or physically harmed you. That's not true. They only have to prove that they're afraid. It's why I couldn't get a restraining order against her, because all she had done was emotional manipulation. First of all, you couldn't get a restraining order against Mary Schweiger, cunt, because you were living in her house. You were a boarder in her house. She was a boarder in her house, Angel. She was living off this couple. How can she get a restraining order on Mary Schweiger or Glenn Schweiger?
They have to move.
It's their fucking house. And they threw her out.
They have to move.
Oh, yeah, they threw her out. She hates me for that. And you know what? I'm so proud of it. And you know something? I look at it as even though my motives were so impure, even though my motives were shit, I helped those poor kids. Like, she was trying to get them taken away from their mother, who, maybe she's emotionally distant. Who knows? Maybe she ain't getting enough sex because her husband was too busy fucking this weirdo. I don't know the whole
story. Could be. But at the end of the day, you're a champion of the children.
Absolutely. Even if my motives were shitty. The point is, I win, she loses. So she's going to bitch about me forever. But at the end of the day, she's going to know I won, she lost. Like, I am never going to... I will sometimes say, at least when Brian's in the room, I need to stop swearing. I know Maxine doesn't like when I swear. She listens to Covendom, Brian and Levi show. She won't listen. She knows. Because I'll get in trouble. Christian, why do you have to swear like that? And I get it. It's not very English of me, but I'm not English. I am the very worst that America has to offer. So...
It's seasoning for vocabulary.
Look, I am not saying that I don't have areas that I can improve in, but what are you going to get by, here's the thing. I have always found that if you really want to get rid of somebody, use the truth. And you may never really get rid of them, but you can at least get rid of them from your life. You have the power to decide who you're going to interact with. And my attitude is, I don't, I just get rid of them out of my life. Why do I not have a cursor here? Oh, here we go. Excuse me. Well, I managed to get 74 of the 100 and something live listeners back. So, I mean, I've also found that the hyperbole of your enemies is your strongest shield and your sharpest sword. Because when they say something that is untrue about you, and then someone goes, well, they said, they said you assaulted all these young queer girls. And then they find out you called somebody a cunt. Well, they might normally get very upset about that. A lot of women don't like that word. I get it. I sort of try to get rid of it. And
I love that word. Well, cunt is a great word.
I mean, it's like a gay man saying hello. But point is, look, I get it. But here's the thing. When they come and what they have in their head is you've assaulted all these young girls, and then you find out you called one person a cunt who wasn't a girl. It's like, oh, that's all it was? I have literally spent my entire public career, because nobody ever did this to me when I wasn't well known. Nobody ever came for me. I never came for them. Mm-hmm. I never had these interactions. I only have them because half these people are jealous of me, and they're upset that I have a pool and eat caviar. So I've been told this. Oh, no. Tim Reagan was like, some of your employees are going to get very upset if you say you have this camera or whatever. I'm like, well, I'm buying it for this. It's part of the business. I mean, no one can say I don't put most of what we do back into the business. We invest everything into what we do. I'm a workaholic. Like everything I do circles around the business. But whatever, people don't like it. That's them. If they listen,
they're victims.
First of all,
Victims
if half these people listen to me, they would be successful themselves. It's not like I don't constantly tell people, here's what you can tweak in your life to make yourself more successful. Some listen, some don't. What am I supposed to do about it? It's not like I'm not willing to help. But my point is, I never dealt with this when nobody knew who I was. Nobody made up stories that I called them in the middle of the night and it made international news. None of this sort of thing. Not for nothing when you had your issue with, your driving accident there. They put, that you would have never made the Daily Mail if there wasn't a public witch component. You know what I mean?
No, there's an article about me in Australia.
Yeah, that's the Daily Telegraph. But they did that because of me. And the witches, and the connection to witchcraft, and so this just made a back page story in the Salem become this international because it sells. Sensationalism, occult, and witchcraft make in Salem especially. I mean, there was that year that the 2 8-year-olds were trying to sell lemonade on Salem Common on the green space in the center of town, and the sausage vendor called the police. That's not something you'd see on the third page of any local newspaper, but it made the BBC News on TV in London because it's Salem. People are fascinated with what happens there. So I never had this. Don't know how it is in Australia, but I'm pretty sure in England it's a lot tougher. Like if a newspaper says something, oh please tell me I'm not gone again. Angel, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, I'm here. Oh, I'm ready to die. I'm paying $500 a month for this fucking fiber. It's business fiber. They don't have any residential fiber in my neighborhood. And so I had to pay for them to wire the fiber from a nearby office park a mile away, and every foot is another, however much it costs. So literally they spec it out over 5 years, and it's like buying a car. I think it was like $30,000 or $25,000. So I got to pay it, $500 a month for this friggin' internet. So anyway, in England, Craig, I was saying, I believe that it's much harder to slander people. That it can actually be treated as something criminal. Like in America, we do have the First Amendment, and particularly slander and libel and defamation laws have a very special clause regarding public figures. And Trump tried to get rid of this. It was one thing I could have almost supported, but I think if I take out my personal self-interests, which Trump is not personally able to do, but if I take out my personal self-interests, I don't think it's a good idea. In other words, I can, if someone says something about somebody else, and you can say, oh, I lost this money because they said this about me, and look at how my business has gone down according to this spreadsheet or whatever it is, and look at how my numbers have gone down, and they said this maliciously. Well, you can get money from that person. I mean, granted, I will say that 99.9% of the people that say horrible things about me publicly are on some sort of government stipend. And so there's nothing, well, it's the truth. So there's nothing you can take. They don't own a house. Trust me, if I thought I could make a whole career out of suing the haters and probably become a multi-millionaire. I could become a multi-millionaire suing my haters but for 2 reasons. One, they don't have anything. And 2, if you're a public figure in America, you not only have to prove loss, which I can't. We beat January of 2020. This past January, we had the most successful January in Salem in our business's history at both stores. Now, that's not true here because the bars are closed, so everybody's suffering here. But as long as we can ride it out, we'll be fine. So, best January ever. And so how do you show, especially during COVID, it's like then they're just going to say, oh, you lost because of COVID. You didn't lose, Yep. So I could never sue. I can't show loss because it never touches me. I mean, I suppose you could argue maybe you would have made 100,000 more if it weren't for the haters. But as long as you're making more than you were, no judge is going to be like, oh, poor you.
You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, unless you can really prove, normally I go up 10%, but this year I only went up 5%. But even that's not, our percentages are always better. Can't help it. The other thing you have to show is that they lied. And the most important thing about public figure, Craig, if you're still there, is in America, is you have to prove they knew they were lying. And what that means, essentially, that's hard because, and the reason they say that for public figures is I can find probably 10,000, a million. I can probably find 1 million Americans that believe Beyonce is in the Illuminati. Oh no, forget that. So there was a recent study done. 30% of all Republican voters believe in some form of the Q conspiracy. Now, just based on Trump's voters, that's like 25 million something, people. And if let's be conservative. Let's say 20 million Americans believe that Tom Hanks, Oprah Winfrey, and Lady Gaga are drinking the blood of children, because that is what 20 million people, that these Q people are all saying. That's what they believe. So if Lady Gaga were to try to sue 20 million people, okay, she has to prove that they not only lied, but they lied with intent, or as LM said, that they lied maliciously. They intentionally lied to hurt you. However, if you're talking about the court of public opinion, which the public figure must deal with, how do you deal with it? In other words, Lady Gaga would have to sue 20 million Q people in courts all around America, which would then tie up the court system. Like if every celebrity was allowed to sue for slander, defamation, and libel. Like it's one thing when it's a newspaper.
It'd be tied up forever.
Right. I mean, even newspapers, they get away with a lot, but there's sometimes, Tom Cruise will squeeze a nickel out of them or two. But even then you go through, it's because he's got millions of dollars to do it. So here's the thing. You have no power to fight it. Craig said, I'm still here. My question was not so much about libel as about when people actually go to the cops and have someone charged. Doesn't them going on social media with the accusations risk a mistrial? Well, yeah, but how many are doing it? Well, maybe. No, I think he's right. I think that a lot of times judges put gag orders on things here about that, but we're not really talking about this because, as we said, I don't know when you came in, Craig, but the number of false accusations in the court system, which the far left loves to tout around with the Me Too movement, is, and I'm not picking, I'm way worse to the far right, but I can't really love the far left either. But, the Me Too movement loves to truck around. Only 5%, well, this is the thing, Craig, only 5% of accusations in the system, when they go to court, when they go to the police, only 5% of them are false. And so the ones that are true, the lawyers are very likely to say, don't talk about this publicly. Which is why you didn't hear from most of Cosby's victims, which is one of the reasons I didn't believe Janice Dickinson. She went on every fucking thing she could go on. And it was like, and even then, though, most of those things were past the term, the statute of limitations. And so some of those women that spoke out did so because they had no choice. They couldn't go to the police. But when you're talking about going to the police, only 5% are false accusation. So Craig said, I've been here all along. It's interesting that your accusers haven't gone down that path. Well, first of all, a couple of them have tried the restraining order thing because in Massachusetts, all you have to do is say you're afraid. Like, it's very easy to get a restraining order on somebody in Massachusetts. They used to have it until 2011. You had to have lived with the person in Massachusetts or have been in a romantic relationship of some kind. In 2011, they came out with the harassment prevention order, and I've had multiple lawyers. And you can, like Tom says, Google it! You can Google the harassment prevention order in Massachusetts, and you will find many people in law enforcement I found websites of police officers going on about how fake most, people will like take a restraining, the harassment prevention order. It's basically restraining order for the rest of us, and take it out on their neighbor because the neighbors, they don't like the neighbor's tree. Like it's a stupid fucking law. And, my introduction to Craig was actually, he didn't know who I was and didn't like something I said, so he posted this link, and I went nuts because it was a link to the Lori Bruno restraining order thing. But this is the thing. She didn't go and file charges. She claimed that I'd been, it is a matter of court record, that she said I'd been making these calls since she left my store in 2012. But what doesn't make sense is I've been friends with her son Anthony the whole time since. We were in contract for all of 2013 with TLC Television Network. Why wouldn't she go to the producer? She was in her mid-70s. You're going to tell me that for 4 years I was calling and she didn't even make a police report. In fact, she didn't even put it in her original request for a restraining order. Her request for a restraining order was because I made fun of her online, which is not actionable in any way. That was her original request. And that was her restraining order she filed on September 28th, 2015. Now, the original court date was October 12th, if I recall correctly, and I had to say I wasn't going to be there. She didn't know that. So the day I was supposed to come in on the 12th, that's when she went to court and came up with this whole I was calling her in the middle of the night thing. Now, that is a very old, I don't know how the judge fell for it personally, but that is maybe because she was old and maybe because there were TV cameras throughout the courtroom. I don't know. But that is an old restraining order trick. Like people do that in divorce. When couples are getting divorced and they get restraining orders, the day of the hearing, they'll come in and go, oh, by the way, he raped me. None of that came up. Like they've made a restraining order because they thought he was mean or yelled at them or threw a glass or whatever. But then the day of the hearing comes and suddenly there's this October surprise. In this case, literally, because it was October 12th. So now I didn't actually get there till October 28th or 7th or whatever it was. And so I had to deal with this whole, and I didn't know they'd added that. I was like, what is this phone calls? Then I find out that and I'm like, I've never called. Like, this is ridiculous. And then my lawyer got sick, which they love to take credit for. And it's like, well, if you think that I had the unjust position, why would you brag about stripping my ability to prove it? You would actually think you'd want to fight me fair and square if you think you have the moral high ground. But they knew from the beginning they didn't. Not only did I not call her in the middle of the night, no one did. Because if anybody did, she would have called. What person? I'm 51. And if I had someone calling me every night in the middle of the night, it'd probably take me 3 days before I'd call the police. Like, that's just such a bullshit thing. It was always a bullshit thing. But here's the thing. What can you do? You can't do anything about it. I went back in a year later. I brought in a horde of witnesses. It was quite humiliating to her from what I could gather. The only time I've heard about her, every once in a while she'll make a dig on Facebook, but nothing major. She tried to get back in my good graces when the Grimassis went nuts. She called Tim Reagan and said, maybe the Grimassis made those phone calls. And I said, you hang up on her. I don't care what she comes out with. She's never getting back in. There ain't a chance in hell. Like, first of all, my husband would divorce me. Like, there is just no way in hell. Sorry, I'm not giving up sex for you, lady. No, there is no way in hell she ever coming back.
No, after everything she did to you, I would disown you.
Well, not for anything. Not just me, but through Ronald French. You. Like, you were on. That website is still there in Iceland. It's still there. I'm still on it. You're still on it. My father, who died of cancer, is still on it. Like, there are still people being attacked. And she said to Witch Doctor Utu on the phone, and he testified in court, I will destroy whoever I have to if it means taking him out. That's what she said to him. Like, that is what she said. And that was before the restraining order thing. Like, that was when Ronald French was first starting his bullshit. She was willing to do whatever it took to her. Now, of course, here we all still are. You think they would have learned from her. So, Craig, sometimes people will go the court route, but they go the cheesy court route. Like, they don't actually file a charge. They don't, like, it's like some, easy thing to get, like a restraining, and, oh my God, Your Honor, I'm afraid. Here. That's not fair. They don't, Craig said it's interesting that your accusers haven't gone down that path. It is interesting, but what it really means is they don't have anything. Because it's not real. And until calling somebody a cunt's illegal, I'm safe for life. I'm just saying. Like, I mean, the point is, what it does, though, some of the people on the far left will say, it's okay if you destroy his life. Like I said earlier, who cares if he had 4 kids to feed? It's not like he went to jail. He just lost his career and can never work again. I think you got to be careful with this stuff. Yeah, I think Gina Carano should have been fired. Do I think Gina Carano should never work again? No. I think there must be a redemption for everyone. I don't believe in the death penalty. I think maybe some people do need to go to jail for life. You know what I mean? It's like there are some people. Do I think Gina Carano? I mean, I don't understand how you can sit there and say, Crimson Dame. I did make a rape comment once. He was right about that too. 7 years ago. They're still talking about. And to somebody that
apologize publicly.
Well, she also falsely accused me of something. But whatever. The point is, okay, I did that. It was wrong. But these pagan prison ministers will go into jail and pass the chalice to, a 5-time rapist who might have even murdered a few of them. But I make a nasty comment and I must be canceled for life. How does that even make sense? Yeah. So the 5-time rapist can get the chalice and I get the axe. I mean, I just don't understand it. And Craig said that's what I'm getting at. The accusations lack credibility. Well, I figured. And that is, but that is what they do.
Yeah,
they come in and they do this to a lot of people. And once in a while, you will see me when it was Yesha Matthews or Utu, if I feel like they've gone overboard. I was never as irate as when they tried to change the whole nature of conflict resolution in the magical community to Star Chamber Justice, where, a group of organizations in America here said, we've investigated her. We say she's guilty. You can trust us. So when Devin Hunter says I bullied him, what that means is, you're damn right. I called up and I said, if you do this, if you pursue this, I will fight. I will bring the entire power of my empire down on your head. However I said it. And it's, the idea was I was willing to fight this. And he knew it. And they all knew it. Storm Fairy Wolf, T-Thorn Coil, they all knew it. I will do whatever it takes. You will not do this. Look, if you want to cancel people for the thing they did, I think they're excessive with the cancel culture personally. But at least say, oh, this person did this. I don't like them. Here's what we're going to do. We're not going to tell you what she did or who she did it to or who did it or whatever anybody did, because that's shaming the victim and forcing them to relive their trauma. We're just going to tell you that as credible organizations, you can trust us and shun this person. No fucking way.
Yeah.
No way. No way. No way. No. No.
No.
Don't pull it. And if they think, oh, well, he's weaponizing his material gains and successes, you goddamn fucking right I am. It's sort of like when Reed Wildermuth told everybody Dorothy Morrison and I were rapists. The people that participated in that, that's mainly why I don't like Deborah Lipp. She participated in this. So, she doesn't understand why I've sent a little salt her way over the years. Well, there you go. You basically called my friend and I racists for nothing. I have a $10,000 standing reward for whatever racist thing I supposedly said on Dorothy Morrison's wall. It's ridiculous.
You've never said anything like this.
I have 3 $10,000 standing rewards now, none of which I'll ever have to pay. But there were a number of authors I
took right off the shelf that participated in that. And Reed is a communist, so he went on this rant, and he said he's weaponizing his position as controlling the means of production, and it's so unfair and capitalist. Look, I'm not, it's not about capitalism. I'm for whatever's making me successful. If I can live my life in a happy way, I don't care what the political setup is. I don't really think I'd like communism. I'm sure after everything I've talked to Elohim Lifar about, he's from Venezuela. He'll have a thing or two to say about socialism. I don't think capitalism's perfect. I think it needs to be greatly regulated. But I ended up becoming friends with Tracy Frasche over the whole stuff with Deborah Lipp and Melissa Payne. I don't hate them. I've told Tracy, I'd probably like them under different circumstances. However, what's not going to happen is you're not going to go out there and say crazy shit. Like, I obviously have views politically that are all over the map. So there's going to be leftists that think I'm transphobic or racist or this or that. It's just ridiculous. Like, it is ridiculous. I've always believed.
It is ridiculous.
I've always believed. I've had fights with people defending affirmative action for crime. I mean, I have the most. I was awarded because we have the most diverse festival. Was the award Jason Mankey gave. And it's not like I sat there. I'm not a quota person. Well, I need 3 black people, 2 Chinese. I don't do that. What I do is I say I want good content. And if you want good content, you're naturally going to go to cultural, you know what I mean? You're going to want somebody with a tie to Mexico doing Santa Cima Muerte more often. Well, I mean, I realize that's not what all the other festivals do, but I do, you know what I mean? I do try to say, well, if this person's doing candomblé, it might add a thing or two if they're from Brazil. Is that so, you know what I mean? Like, so there's the diversity. I think I'm like tallying them up. Oh my God, I've got to have another trans person. I don't do it that way. I simply proceed with the idea that you want good content. It's a magical festival. It's meant to cross all of these magical spectrums. And to do so, you'll be naturally diverse. And we're also economically diverse. Because a lot of people who couldn't afford to go to Pantheacon because they got to buy their hotel, they got to buy their flight, they've got to pay the admission fee even if they're teaching and get paid nothing. So if you don't have the kind of job where you can easily take time off because you got to make the bread for the household, you're the breadwinner, and it's challenging for you to take the time off from work. Well, that was why Jason Mankey gave us that award, and we earned that damn award. And he had to be polite about, it's like, well, before anybody gets upset, there had to be a disclaimer. And I get it because he knows a lot of haters. And a couple of people did resign from Pathos because they gave us that award. But I deserved that award. I really did. Because
you did deserve it.
We pay people, we make it, if you're a participant, Hexfest is $350 and Pantheacon was $85. So I get the difference that not everyone can afford to go. But we chose to make it about the presenters. We chose to make it so that presenters were compensated. And we gave the magical communities a template by which they could be confident. We had the money to say, oh, well, if we lose $20,000 a year, it's all right. We said we would if it lost $20,000 forever. But we became profitable eventually, but it let the rest of the community know that this is a model that can work because no one had tried it where everyone gets paid. No one had tried it. And that actually contributed to the lack of diversity because, in our country, a lot of economic disadvantage coincides with racial inequity. You know what I mean? Because people of color are often kept down financially. And so they end up in those areas where they couldn't afford to go present at PCON. And so that issue literally gets taken right off the table. So now it's, oh, you're a great presenter. It doesn't matter what you look like or sound like or believe in. You're going to contribute. And if you can't afford to, it doesn't matter because we're paying, you know what I mean? And you get 2 dinners. I mean, you get the dinner on the boat. You get the dinner at our house. So even if you don't have a lot of food money, buy a few po' boys in between, whatever. Like it our goal is actually much more egalitarian. You know, we're not treating the big name as the keynote. We don't have a keynote speaker, and we never will. I've had sometimes they'll ask, you know, who's going to be the keynote? Nobody. I don't want to be in the position of deciding who's who in the zeitgeist. You know what I mean? Because I'll pick people, other people, you know, your favorite person might be, you know, I don't know. I can't think of it. Devin Hunter, maybe that's your person. And my person might be Lori Cabot. You know what I mean? And I think I'd win. But like, but the point is, we all have an idea of who our hit parade is, you know, and I don't want to be in the position of that. You're all stars, as RuPaul says. You're all stars. You know, everybody there is a rock star to me because they're bringing something magical and wonderful to the table. And that's how WitchCon is, you know, where God knows what we're at now. No, that's
a lot.
It way outpaced my expectations for a first year. I will say that. I mean, I hoped for 1,000 arrogantly, but I never thought I'd actually get. I mean, you never know. You never know. Yeah, it's up there. If you, I don't know. There's a chance this is going to sell, in which case I'd get you tickets. The great thing is if people don't get to see it live, they can always buy. They can actually buy it as long as they want to buy it. If people want to come in a year and buy this year's Hex Fest, they can do it. You know, but I think there's something to experiencing it live, especially with the vending rooms, because the vendors are all live sales. And so a lot of their products they're going to be offering are going to be things you don't see on their store. Like, I don't know what Sandra's bringing to ours. She's doing the Hex one, but I'm sure it's something cool. I don't remember talking to her about what it's going to be, but I know it's going to be something cool. And, you know, so you have this chance to get wonderful products that you wouldn't get if you go in as a recording later. I suppose if you go into the vending room later and you see something you like, you can email the person. You know, maybe they'll still have it. I don't know. But there is that experience. You know, we've got the virtual meet and greet in Zoom, and you know, there's just when we created WitchCon, which is in 2 days. I don't. What are you doing? Are you around tomorrow where you don't have like a throng?
Yes, I'm around tomorrow.
Because I really want to have you like FaceTime me on a computer.
Yeah, so I can do that.
I don't even know. So you do the eyeliner for. By the way, those are makeup tips for me. You should do YouTube's. So is it eyeliner, eyeliner, foundation, then eyeshadow? Where does the primer? I
usually do eyeshadow before foundation, just in case I need to clean up the edges a little bit. The foundation can do that.
What about eye primer? When does that happen?
That goes on right before the eyeshadow.
So you don't put, because I put on a couple of times the eye primer before. No, it's not witch.con, it's witchcon.com. But I put it on, I don't see, they must be coming in through one of the, they must be on my personal page, because the person who said witch.con is on my personal page, because I can't see the names. I put the eye primer on a few times before the eyeliner, and that was a challenge.
Yeah. Yes, no, put on the eyeliner. So, do you tight line your eyes, or do you put the eyeliner on the top?
What does that mean?
Where do you put your eyeliner?
Well, I sort of draw, like let me see if you can see me, but I won't, there'll be a delay. I sort of draw it along the top, like very close to the top eyelashes.
Okay.
And then I sort of pull it out a little cat-like, and then I go underneath, and sometimes I don't go all the way to the point on the bottom in the middle. I'll sort of smudge it there. One of these days I should do it online. Say, here's how but I don't really, I'm always very organic. I never do them the same way twice. But that, by the way, people, if you're looking for an amazing, I guess the thing now is palettes. I used to buy the individual little colors, but for eyeshadow, no, I haven't put it on yet. But the colors, what is it, Mothership?
Mothership 5, Pat McGrath. It's beautiful.
Pat McGrath, Mothership 5. And what did you say in terms of how it goes on?
It's so smooth and it blends so easily and it doesn't get patchy or crease. It's really beautiful.
Well, you used to tell me Jeffree Star. What happened to that?
That was 6 years ago, and that's when I couldn't afford a $125 eyeshadow palette.
Family. So I'm a bad influence. No, but that's an amazing thing. And those Fenty brushes, I'm going to feel like Rihanna. You gotta work. Yeah, so I was going to do the makeup tonight, but then I had some drama, so I couldn't. But no, that aubergine.
I told you you'd like it. You were on the phone. It looks brown. I told you you'd love it.
It looked brown in the picture. Not for nothing that fat hiding shit, whatever the contour is, that is much darker than it was on the website. I'm hoping I don't look ridiculous, but we're gonna have.
No, you just have to do it with a very, very light hand and blend the fuck out of it.
Well, you're gonna have to help me tomorrow. What did Sandra said? That's our theme song. And we're gonna work. All I do is work.
Yes, you do. That is your theme song.
Well, Sandra will give me a run for her. I mean, she worked for the store. She's got the whole live sale thing, and she's got the books. She's just signed her third contract. She's doing amazing with these books. I am curious though. Since you're there, Sandra, what is it? Are we selling anything cool at the live? What's anything interesting on the live for Hex? She's doing the live for Hex. Oh, I can see Leanne in her picture. I know there's Deb. We just got Deb into the... So not only you, Angel, but we have sucked Deborah Laurie, from one of Sandra's priestesses, who's an amazing psychic medium. She has now left the Muggle world.
I know, I heard. I'm excited to meet her.
Oh, Sandra said handmade goodies. Well, that doesn't say much. Give me some little hint. Or call in and tell me, because you'll sound better. Anyway, Angel here is a wonderful psychic, and she's worked for us, in different ways for years, but not as a full-time person now, and she kind of...
Yeah, I gave up my Muggle job.
Well, I just feel like, the Pickety Witch dolls, those are cool, the Cornhusk dolls. We'll get some expensive things in there. We want some expensive things.
We do love expensive things.
Witchy caviar. I want expensive. No, I feel like we've really, when we created WitchCon, the whole idea was, well, what would wands and athames from the UK? Oh, that's cool. Did we get the wands from the UK, or are you talking about the other lady's new wands? The Canada wands. Excuse me. Well, anyway, no, when we did WitchCon, we were like, well, what would this be? You know what I mean? If we were doing this from scratch and not like all these things that go online because they have to because of COVID, what would it be if we didn't have to? And we got we got the UK wands. Oh, I've been waiting for those. Or is it? Oh, wait a minute. Which is it? The wands from the Athame? Because I know there was another wand lady we found, and I was hoping to get those at some point. But anyway, no, I love those. But I know what she's talking about. Those wands and Athame. The 3 of the gorgeous crystal wands. Oh, yeah, no, we've got some amazing things. No, and so that's why WitchCon has people like Georgie Mishev from Plovdiv, Bulgaria, which I'm probably saying wrong. And Yulia Tarola in Modena, Italy. People are presenting at this thing. I mean, no festival has ever done this before, where you get to, I mean, we've got, of course, these are all the people from around here. Oh, no. Well, Nottingham, United Kingdom, blah, 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 all over America. Washington, Melbourne, Australia, Niagara Falls, Canada, Manchester, United Kingdom, Canada.
Yeah, your people all over.
I know I always say this wrong. Sao Paulo, Brazil. Elohim is in New York, but he's from Venezuela. Perth, Australia. Adelaide, Australia. Get a lot of Australia. Francis Billinghurst, Georgie Misha from Plovdiv, Bulgaria, Yulia Tirola from Modena, Italy. It's just really, like, just looking at it sort of freaks me out because there's just so many people on here. And we've got, I love her, Marta Moran Gonzalez from Mexico City, and she's cute. She got over 100 people to change their profile picture to her WitchCon picture. Like if you go on the if you go on to facebook.com/WitchCon, yeah, WitchCon. And you go into the photo galleries, there's a gallery with photos of all the presenters. So if you have a favorite presenter, make their picture, your picture will drive people crazy. No, God. Oh no, this all still here. Oh, another Sao Paulo, Patricia Finkler. Phyllis Curott, she's from the Hamptons. That's sort of its own country, isn't it?
It kind of.
I'm so excited to get Silver Ravenwolf. This is our first time working together on a project.
Silver Ravenwolf?
Yeah.
What?
Silver Ravenwolf. Well, I worked with her at Witches Fest in New York last year, and she attended my class, and we just really hit it off. And we finally...
I love her, and I would fan out if I ever got to meet her. I would embarrass you with my adoration.
Oh, no. We finally talked on the phone, and I was just like, this is my kind of person. Like, she's just so much fun. Sarita Dieste from Glastonbury, Tara Sanchez from Chester in the United Kingdom. I mean, we're talking, like, all over the world.
Amazing.
And, no, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed, though. It's way past my bedtime.
Yeah, and I'm going to probably say goodnight to all of you. Because I'm hungry, a little tired. It's been a day. But I want to thank everyone for calling in. And we'll have to have sometime I'll have to, bring you in on video and you can teach people witchy makeup.
It'll be fun.
Witchy. So good night, everyone. Good night, Angel. Good night, world.
Good night, peace. Good night.
Blessings to all of you.